no matter where you are, no matter what time it is a day, thank you for making any part of your day part of Hoop Spaces. We are forever grateful. Thank you so much. I'll be getting the show card tweet up there. A full slate of games yesterday, no games tonight, and some great basketball scheduled in the NBA tomorrow. Also, we'll be getting ready to bring back the Hoop Spaces review, the daily newsletter, making sure you don't miss out on any of the action in the new year. Powered by audiolabs.io on YouTube. If you miss any of the show, head over there. You can see the entire show unedited for all context. Powered by audiolabs.io. Big ups to Playback TV over at Watch Playback, bringing you the ability to stream live games with your favorite content creators. I'll be also trying to work that back in as soon as my son's swimming schedule helps out so we can do some League Pass watch. And as always, brought to you by our sponsors, slamgoods.com. Head over to slamgoods.com. Use promo code HoopSpaces. Save 15% off of your entire purchase. And if you buy them now, you can thank me later. There's still the Sean Kemp bobblehead Funko Pop doll. You also have the Jason Williams one, so make sure you pick those up at $20. They're a Slam exclusive. Use promo code HoopSpaces, save 15%. I'll be back in about 15 seconds to start off the basketball talk. Good morning. All right. Good morning, everybody. December 24th. Happy Christmas Eve. We'll do a good show, quick show covering all of the NBA news and notes throughout the league, as well as the scores. If you want to come on up, go ahead and request the mic, and we'll get the talk started. We'll also do some college scores, make sure we keep up with the top 25 as we get ever so closer to March Madness for both men's and women's. There's some good college basketball out there as well. It's first time I'm doing a Christmas Eve show. We didn't do a Christmas Eve show last year. I wanted to be able to do one just because I know some people may be traveling. If you are, God bless, stay safe, because I spent an hour and a half just going to and from Walmart, which is about 2 miles away, just to get some wrapping paper. Last night, full slate of games, including a couple of comebacks that we're going to get into. If you want to go ahead and come on up, get a mic, like and retweet the show card. I'm also going to put out the Venmo and Cash App stuff today, trying to get enough to raise up enough to get some new equipment, as I'm hoping to get picked up by Amazon next year. But I want to be able to start out strong, and some of the stuff I want, it's kind of pricey. So any help will be appreciated. Last night, there was a top 25 game canceled. That was the University of Wisconsin hosting Grambling. I was actually kind of looking forward to that. It was canceled due to inclement weather. There was a game that played, and I was kind of shocked. It was Bloomington, Indiana, just south of me, but it was rough out there last night. 69-55, Indiana over Kennesaw State. Yeah, I really wasn't expecting that game to play, and sometimes I'm able to make the IU games. Also, last night in the women's side, Stanford, it was a cold and brisk 55 degrees in Stanford and Palo Alto, defeated California 90-69. Those are your men's and women's top 25 games from last night. And then we'll just get into the NBA. We had a full slate of games opened up by the Magic hosting the Spurs. The Magic have figured it out. 133-113. Cole Anthony citing 23 points, 10 boards, and 9 assists. And the Magic are suddenly on the upswing as they are starting to get health, winning, I think it's now 8 out of their last 10 games, ladies and gentlemen. The Clippers were up on the 76ers until the second half, and the Sixers came back behind the play of Joel Embiid and James Harden. James Harden, franchise record tying 21 assists last night. Embiid, another 44-point performance, and this was what you wanted to see. from a healthy duo as Embiid and James Harden, going against the fully healthy Clippers team, getting into the swing of things. 119, 114. Doc Rivers once again proving how great of a coach he is. The Hawks beat the Pistons up 130 to 105. Trae Young 26 and 13. The Hawks have been in the news lately for things that are off the basketball court, so it's good to see them be able to beat teams they're supposed to be able to beat. The Celtics beat the Timberwolves 121-109. Jaylen Brown 36 and 7, and Anthony Edwards 30 and 6. And I tell you, you feel kind of bad for Minnesota because like they pulled this Gobert trade and they thought they were going to be able to zig when everybody was zagging, and it just has not worked out. The Brooklyn Nets, your hottest team in the NBA, 118-100 over the Bucks. Nicholas Claxton, 19 and 8, and great defense, 3 steals and a couple of blocks. Kevin Durant, flashing his all-around game, and it's getting ready pretty close to see if we need to talk about Kevin Durant in the MVP talk. The Raptors beat the Cavs 118-107, starting a much-needed win streak. Scotty Barnes, 25 and 10. The Bulls beat the Knicks again. This time, DeMar DeRozan sinking the winning basket, 118-117. The Pacers over the Heat, 111-108. Mavericks over the Rockets, 112-106. The Pelicans beat the Thunder in overtime, 128-125. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, 44, 10, and 6 in that game. The Nuggets handled business at home, 120-107. Nikola Jokic, 2 rebounds short of a triple-double. The Grizzlies over the Suns, 125-100. The Wizards over the Kings, 125-111. And in your nightcap, the Lakers failed to come back against the Charlotte Hornets. The Hornets victorious, 134-130. All right, there you go. I'll be back in about 10 seconds. If you could do me the favor, like and retweet the show cards, the only tweet up there. Good morning. There we go. My mic is also acting up. It's not really fun to have a bad mic. Can't ever tell if you're on or off. And if you can hear by the sound of my voice, I unfortunately am getting sick. It's not COVID. It's more likely just a cold. Helping old people shovel off the snow and ice. I'm probably sick. All right, we have JFK and Joel. We'll say good morning first to Joel as he's across the pond and is well into the afternoon. And we can go ahead and say Merry Christmas, Joel. How are you?
Yeah, good afternoon and a happy Christmas. I think you can imagine that I'm quite happy today.
Yeah, no, you should be. The Nets are doing fantastic. What did you get from last night's game?
Obviously it's 82 game season, so you cannot talk about a must win yet. But why this game was important, I think, is because we played a lot of depleted teams lately. And as a Nets fan, I don't really care because, we almost had our first clean injury report in the KD Kyrie era until Kyrie couldn't play that evening. So Nets fans really don't care if other teams are injured or not. But despite that fact, it was time for us to beat a contender because the only game we have lost in the past period was against the Celtics. So my takeaway was that a lot of the things we're seeing are translating as well to a contender like the Bucks. It means the defense, especially Nick Claxton and Ben Simmons, who played phenomenally on Giannis. And Nets fans know this already. That Claxton, can defend like that. That Ben Simmons can defend like that. That KD has been amazing on defense. Like, we know that, but the majority of neutral NBA fans don't really seem to know it, and the NBA media isn't taking us seriously. So people like Nick Wright, for example, from Fox Sports, I'm curious to see what they're going to say if they're going to talk about this game on Monday. So let's see. That's, to me, it shows us what we already knew as Nets fans, that we're in a very good place right now since Jacques Vaughn took over. And people I don't know whose team has this hashtag, but take note. Isn't it the Utah Jazz? But people should take note of what's happening in Brooklyn right now.
Yeah, take note is the Utah Jazz, but people should be paying attention to Brooklyn. They're fast rising to the top of the Eastern Conference, and maybe only really a player away from being the clear cut favorite if they could get maybe a good backup big so they can help rotate some matchup issues with Claxton.
Absolutely.
But then, yeah, those matchup issues are very team specific. Like you're talking Orlando, you're talking Philadelphia, those with the big bodies. Maybe Chicago, but Chicago, I mean, nobody trusts Chicago.
Yeah, of
um,
course. But even yesterday, right? You had this moment where I think Clarkson was subbed out, and KD was the only person near 7 feet on the floor. And KD asked, like, "What am I supposed to guard?" You know. And then Jacques said, "Brooke Lopez," and KD was like, "Really?" Right? You know. So to spare us those kind of minutes, because I don't want KD guarding Brooke Lopez when he doesn't have to, right? So for that, we need a backup big. Other than that, we're cool, I think.
yeah, no, I agree with you. We'll go to JF. JF, good morning.
More Chris. Man, I kind of realized the Heat have a negative in their home court advantage, and that's probably the reason why we lost last night. So I'm here to talk about it.
Man, somebody's not having a good morning. I can feel the pain in your voice knowing that Tyrese Halliburton lit y'all up for 43 points.
So Chris, I mean, it wasn't as bad because I felt like I shouldn't have watched that game anyways. I kind of knew what was going to happen, just by how the day was and trying to do some late Christmas shopping. Very, very hectic. But the negative that I got to speak about is we have a lot of beautiful women here in South Florida. When it comes close to Christmas time, they're all looking for somewhere to bundle up. Usually, when the NBA superstars come out and they shine from places like Indiana, where they don't have any five-star recruits like that. So I think he came out, put on a show. He wanted to show that he is all-star compared to what we saw last time. So we need to go ahead and fill those seats up for the Heat fans instead of five-star recruits, Chris.
All right, I find this kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie, man.
Remember what happened with Jordan Poole last year, Chris? Okay, enough said.
Oh, Jordan Poole. Yeah, I mean, but Jordan Poole always tries to play when the baddies are out, right?
I don't know, Chris. It's a thing in Miami, bro. It's a thing in Miami.
All right, Lev. I get it. I get it. I'm gonna be putting out PayPal, Cash App, and Venmo if anybody does feel the urge to help give some Christmas gifts. I'm accepting all donations. I need anything that I can get to help put us in a better position coming into the new year. It's hard work. I went over it with my dad last night, talking about what is lost wages versus compensation. I've done now 283 shows covering a season and almost a half. And I can tell you that I've probably lost out on after taxes $58,000 of earned wages. And I did that with a conscious decision to try to build a platform that was both equitable and sustainable. And we're at the point where we need to push into some sustainability. One of the things that'll be coming out with the Substack is a basically NPR style $10 a month pledge for whatever it's worth. And the goal is to get 50 people who are able and willing to help support Hoop Spaces going into the new year at $10 a month. But to get to where we actually want to be, I've had to actually use my own budgeted personal money for some other stuff because that's just the nature of this business. And if you are able to help, anything will help. Um, yeah, there you go. That's my NPR spiel for today. Up next, we're going to say good morning to Jose, one of the leaders of 77 Spaces, who just saw a 50-point Luca bomb, 50 points, 8 boards, 10 assists as the Mavs needed every point to defeat the Houston Rockets. Jabari Smith Jr., once again, showing why he was a top lottery selection last night. 17 shots finally, 24 points, 10 boards, 3 assists, and a block. Looked phenomenal. So shout out to Jabari Smith, who I say once again has the highest ceiling on the Houston Rockets. Good morning, Jose.
Good morning, Chris. You sure it's not Alperen Şengün?
Yeah.
Mm. I really liked what I saw out of Jabari Smith Jr. last night. But I think sometimes Alperen just gets overshadowed, and I really like what he's able to do offensively. Like his game in the post is phenomenal. I really like this guy, and I was a big fan of him being drafted. I thought he was gonna go to the OKC, but Rockets. I can't remember if it was a trade for or a trade back, and OKC moved up. But either way, it's fun to see Alperen get some good solid minutes tonight. Well, last night, and I have to be honest, Chris. I kind of was like playing my game, and I had this game like on my phone playing, and I had my headphones off, hearing the audio and everything. And occasionally, I would look back over, and Luca quietly had like 40 points in the third quarter. I'm just like, damn. And like he has 7 shot attempts in the third quarter alone. And then, of course, in the fourth quarter, the Mavericks are failing to separate themselves from the Houston Rockets. And mind you, Dorian Finney-Smith, Josh Green, and Maxey, all three of our best defenders are out on this game. And it shows you kind of the lack of depth that the Mavericks have, but also it shows you that Luka was not willing to lose against the Houston Rockets. So the start of the fourth quarter, sta he stayed. Like usually, Luka will sit like maybe the first 4 to 5 minutes in the fourth, but he said, "F that, I'm gonna play," and he just went supernova. I was just like, wow, like Luka constantly is putting up these phenomenal numbers, and I still had to be somewhat concerned because it's like, okay, well, you get a 50-point burger from Luca, and then everybody else kind of just doesn't have a game, and everybody wants to talk about how it's just Luca ball, but those guys struggled last night. I mean, Christian Wood was phenomenal on the defensive end, which is great to see a offensive minded forward play some really intense defense last night. He had 4 blocks, a major one too, down the stretch with a minute left to go, and he had this almost exact same performance against the Minnesota Timberwolves. So it's showing that Christian Wood is able to buy into a system. I'm not sure if that's increasing his trade value or that's just keep increasing his likelihood that he's gonna stay a Dallas Maverick because he's up for a contract extension and the trade deadline is right around the corner now. So the Mavericks are definitely going to have to make some choices. But McKinley Wright also was phenomenal on defense. I really like McKinley Wright, and it's sad that he's a two-way player right now. Like, he's mostly spending his time in the G League, but tonight you kind of see why he's a NBA ready player, and I think with this Mavericks team lacking so much depth, I think you need to give him some more run time. And Jaden Hardy didn't play last night, but Jaden Hardy could easily contribute to this team right now. So overall, I mean, I'm glad we got the win. We escaped with the win, and I'm ready for the Dirk statue reveal, and then also, the LeBron and Luca on Christmas Day.
All right. Well, let me ask you this question. Should the Mavs sign Christian Wood to an extension? Or yes, no, or do you need to see him in January?
Chris, the Mavericks have a bad history of keeping talent and working around said talent. So for me, it's a yes. I mean, you're not gonna get everything you want out of him. You can't get him to be just tremendously well on defense every single night, and some nights he's gonna explode for 30 points. But in terms of asset management, the Mavericks need to start being better at this aspect of team building. And you can't wait until the deadline and say, "Oh well, Christian Wood, we finally have that contract," and then you seen how that worked out with Brunson. So say again, you're in this same situation with Christian Wood, and you don't trade him at the deadline. You say, "All right, we're just gonna ride it out." Then he's probably gonna walk, and then some other maybe contending team is gonna pay him the money that he wants. They're gonna give him the minutes that he wants, and then the Mavericks are stuck again with no assets going into the next season or into the off season. Good morning, everybody. By the way, and Christmas Eve to all. Happy holidays to those who don't necessarily celebrate Christmas, but happy holidays, Merry Christmas. All of that good stuff. I hope everybody's doing well. I'm assuming that Chris is not on the mic.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, my mic is supposed to be off right now.
The other day when I hosted a space, there was music playing, and then I had to mute the music, and then I had to unmute my mic, and it was still showing that my mic was on, and it kept playing the music, and it was just very frustrating. Elon Musk is an idiot.
See, now I was trying to talk with my mic off. Like, so I get what they're trying to do with the music. And by the way, I'm going to give you a point for actually bringing those who don't celebrate. There are a lot of people who do not, and it is kind of forced upon you because the general populace does. So thank you, Jose. I'm going to give myself a point too because they ripped that music from me. They owe me a check. Like I remember being in this meeting after I was selected for like the Twitter Spark program, and I said, "Hey, you know what would be cool if you had elevator style music that was loopable once we open up the space." Because at that time, I hadn't figured out workarounds and stuff like that, and like they did, but they did it like a year later. Shout out Twitter. Go ahead, Jose. What you got, man? It's an easy show. Easy show today.
Well, I'm gonna be honest, Chris. I've been watching a lot of Knicks basketball this year, and part of the reason is because
That's how it starts, man. That's how the two team
no,
starts.
never that. I ain't ever supporting the Knicks, but I mean, like just watching Jalen Brunson, and he had a defining moment last night where he was probably were thinking of himself as a Mav still, and he choked at the free throw line. So shout out to Jalen Brunson last night.
Wow. Wow.
But I also want to say like I'm happy for him, and to hear that he's a potential All Star is just it's just more egregious. It just invokes more anger towards Mark Cuban and co for allowing an asset like him to just walk away. And I get the fact that he was probably a potential trade candidate as soon as he signed the extension, but I don't know. Jalen Brunson has been phenomenal for the Knicks, and I was listening to Zach Lowe yesterday, and I think even Hoop Collective were just on and on about the Knicks. It was like damn near an hour plus listen of Nets and Knicks talk, and I was kind of just disgusted.
You cannot avoid it. Like people say, it's great. New York is back. One, I don't think New York is back all the way, but people forgot when New York was good. Like it was literally Knicks talk, Lakers talk, 10 minutes about the league. That was your weekend lineup, ladies and gentlemen. It's coming back. Nice shot too at the choking at the free throw line. 1 for 4, uncharacteristically, from Jalen Brunson last night. And shout out to the Knicks for wasting An RJ Barrett masterpiece, 44 points on 14 from 20 shooting, 6 for 6 from deep, 10 for 13 from the line. I put out the apology form. Go find it yourself and fill it out. All right. Like I was right about Tyler Hero too. It takes time. He's 22. He's been in the league 4 years, and every year he's gotten better in one aspect or another of his game. RJ Barrett, shout out to him. Let's not shout out Tom Thibodeau though. He gave yeah, never mind. Shout outs down below to a couple people who are always there. They found us on Clubhouse. They followed us here. That is John. He'll come up later and admit how great a coach Doc Rivers is as his Clippers fall to the 76ers. And Warren from day one on Clubhouse. Happy to see his Nets shine through like they told us they would 3 years ago. 118-100 over the Milwaukee Bucks. But the game I'm going to hop to in real quick was the opening game with the Spurs and Magic. I did catch about 5 minutes into the first quarter, but then I had to deal with an unruly kid. But I came back in the second half. And I have said this before. I believe that Trey Jones has played himself into the discussion of, staying in San Antonio as their starting point guard, unless they somehow, if they get Scoot, that's the end of that. But he has been a pleasant surprise this year at 13 points per game, 7 assists, 4 boards, all averages rounded to the nearest whole number. Also, real well on the defensive end, coming in at over a steal per game. He is shooting now 44 or 43% from the floor, 31 from 3, and 91 from the free throw line. If you have not seen a lot of Spurs games, I do not blame you. It is a very difficult watch, but I did want to give Trey Jones some love. Yes, he is the brother of Tyus Jones. Yes, they both went to Duke. Also on this San Antonio roster, this Jeremy Sohan, young man, we talked about him yesterday. 14 shots, but man, he's going to impact everything on the stat line. 13, 9, and 4, plus 2 blocks last night. Keldon Johnson, an off night in shooting. But it was the Magic. And once again, it was the Magic size. San Antonio could not hang with the size of Paulo, Franz, Bol, and Mortis Wagner. Markel Fultz was once again the smallest guy in the starting lineup at 6'5". And whatever it is that Coach Jamal Mosley has got them believing, they can do whatever they want. Shot 57 from the floor, 53 from deep. They out-rebounded. They out-assisted. They almost outstole. They outblocked. No, they didn't outblock. But it's an amazing event to see the Orlando Magic actually be somewhat competent and exciting basketball team to watch. So if you didn't catch any of that, make sure you put the Orlando Magic out there on your League Pass watch coming into the new year. Any of you guys catch any of this? Yeah, I didn't think so. It's okay. I don't judge. I don't judge. It's all right. Clippers over the Sixers, 119, 114. I had the proverbial hang up in the throat here going into halftime. We just never look the way I want to look usually in the first quarter unless Joel Embiid is going off. And once again, somehow, some way, Doc Rivers' greatness shines through as he is again able to win a professional basketball game playing 4-on-5. PJ Tucker last night, 20 minutes, 0 points, 0 shot attempts, 0 free throws, 2 rebounds, and a steal. 20 minutes, 0 shots of any kind, 2 rebounds, and a steal. Doc Rivers is a great coach. If you do not believe me, you can go argue a wall because he's been playing 4-on-5 offensively all year. All right. JF, what do you got?
Yeah, Chris, I just want to say that PJ Tucker is playing like an all-star for LA Fitness. I don't know what's going on with him or what Doc Rivers got cooking up. Doesn't really look too much of like greatness to me. Again, I think we done say I don't know. a lot of these moves that he have made were questionable, like the trade for Kyle Lowry and releasing PJ Tucker to go to the 76ers, but they all look like wins to me compared to what the other teams, what's happened to the other teams, because there is some serious slander about Fred VanVleet, and PJ Tucker needs to go ahead and enter the Iron Man competition because basketball ain't it no more for him. Sorry, man. I wonder if the shoe store opened up in Philly, though.
Yeah, the shoe store. I think it did actually. I really do. I think it did. Joel, go ahead. What you got, man?
Well, the thing is, today would have been a perfect Christmas Eve for me, because Nets won, the Raptors won, the Lakers lost. The only thing I needed was for Philly to lose, right? But that's really unfortunate. And with Philly, like they've been winning a lot of games lately. Embiid is playing out of his mind. Harden, of course, with wasn't it a franchise record? His assist, or close to a franchise record. So Philly is doing quite well. How do you feel about Philly, other than that Doc Rivers is a great coach?
I tell you what, the biggest fear that I have is that George Niang will turn back into George Niang, and Anthony Melton will lose his shooting effectiveness come playoffs, and we're back left to Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid, James Harden, and Tyrese Maxey. I don't think Daniel House Jr. I don't think Trez. I don't think Cork Maz is enough. Dybul hasn't really been able to stick. Shake Milton has played better, but like in my mind, we need a backup point guard who's actually a backup point guard. They need to figure out what they're going to do with Maxey when he comes back, as there's talk that they actually might keep the Anthony Melton in the starting lineup. If Maxey can buy in to do what Tyler Hero did last year for the Heat, I'm all for that. But I would still give us, the bottom rung of the top four teams in the East. I think Milwaukee's is slightly better. I think Brooklyn is slightly better, and I think Boston is slightly better. I think they're on par with the Cavs, to be honest. And I think whoever makes the better deal going into the trade deadline to fix their one glaring need, being the 3-and-D wing, will end up being that fourth team.
Yeah, I agree with you there fully. I don't think that Philly has enough, and of course, I can't really be objective when it comes to Philly because I hate them. But if I try to be objective, they're a good team. They're definitely in that group, right next to the Cavs. Yeah, so let's see what happens. Do you expect any big moves, or what are you expecting for Philly?
Well, they're pretty locked due to salary constraint. I don't see them moving off Niang, so that really just leaves House Jr., Thibault, and Korkmaz. Between those three, you can come up with 13 mil. So you could pick up a guy at around anywhere between 10 and 15. The one player that I really would want plays in Charlotte, and that's Kelly Oubre. He fits cap wise. He's an expiring contract. He's a above average defender, and he can give you volume scoring. And if he were to come off the bench or start, either way, he'll fit at either the two or the threes. So he's a player that I could definitely see a move being made for. Jay Crowder is also a guy I could see them trying to swing for.
I think he fits very well in Philly, Jay Crowder.
The problem is then we would be paying 2 6'6" power forwards $10 million a year, and combined, I'm sure they would average 6 points and 3 rebounds. Hold up. That felt better. I needed that one in my life. All right. I want to thank everybody who's ever made any part of their day this season or this year or last year part of Hoop Spaces. Thank you. This is your Christmas edition. Full slate of games last night. Nothing tonight. There'll be some games we'll talk about tomorrow as well. If you do look in the bottom right, if you want to say good morning to everybody, that's where you can go if you can't come up and talk. If you do want to come up and talk, raise those hands. And if you look up top, the poll question leading of the day is, should the Dallas Mavericks sign Christian Wood to a contract extension? And then right before that, the donation thing, I call it the NPR drive, is in full effect. So if you have any that you could give to help put Hoops Faces in a better position to succeed next year, anything will help. And I want to go ahead now and shout out Micah Clark. Appreciate you, Mike. I'm not going to go ahead and give out any dollar amounts, so your people will be safe. Like, if you only want to give a buck, give a buck. It'll help. All right. The problem I have with the Los Angeles Clippers is that they have an issue when it comes to playing elite talent. And their issue is Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Like, I think Kawhi is gonna be fine-ish. I'd like to see him stay healthy. I want to see some more games, but I'm starting to wonder if the league is caught up, similarly to the way it seemingly has caught up to LeBron James. Father Time is undefeated, and not saying that either of them are old, but what we also forget is the younger players are also going to be developing at a faster pace. And I'm just wondering now if we're at the point in both Paul George and Kawhi Leonard's career where, although they're great players, they are now no longer feared because before they once were. All right, that's what I'm wondering about the Los Angeles Clippers. We'll go quickly across the room. We'll start with Jose, and we'll say good morning to Micah. Good morning, everybody.
All right, so with the Clippers, I actually want them to be fully healthy. I want to see them in the playoffs again. I love the Mavs and Clippers playoff series back-to-back years. It was intense. It was physical. I really loved it, but I'm wishing them the best in terms of health overall. And I think there's a lot of legitimacy to what you said. They're aging stars. They're piling on with injuries, and it's like, well, they gotta adapt to what is currently happening in the league. And of course, Kawhi and George, they're phenomenal, but man, they need they need some run time. Like, they need to just stay healthy, and that's always been the biggest discourse with the Clippers. I did have a question though for you, Chris, about the Lakers. I'm not sure if the report was 8 to 10 weeks or 8 to 10 games on Anthony Davis, but does this force them to trade their future first, or stand pat and kind of play out through the rest of the season?
They listed it as a no timetable return. And they listed him as out indefinitely. The stress injury is not really being reported to what it could be. So is it a stress fracture? Is it a bone issue with like a stress fracture? Is it a tendon issue? Is it a degenerative form of like arthritis, like I have, where the metatarsals, the large metatarsals where your big toe is, kind of lock up and freeze, and it's extremely painful. It's like the joint version of plantar fasciitis. It's really can be debilitating. Some people tend to walk like they waddle because they can't bend their toe. Like, if it's something like that, we wouldn't know. My guess is we'll probably hear an update around January 10th, which will give you 21 days and I think like 11 games, right? So Jan 10th, if he's not coming back, within a couple weeks, I would say they should be red flag. And if you go back to the game, right? I don't know if you guys remember the game on Friday. It was visibly limping, in a way that I would limp if I couldn't bend my toe. So I think he could be out, like, for a while. And no, I don't think this forces them to trade. If anything, I think this will make them go in the opposite direction. And if they can't get like a DeMar DeRozan, they will then trade all their valuable pieces to try to get any extra draft capital and enter the season with the clean cap sheet, which is what I think the whole plan was all along. Good question. Excuse me. We'll go to JF with his hand up, and then we're going to introduce Jordan. Jordan Isaiah, my friend from PG County, DMV, Supremacy Rise Up, is going to come tell us why I was wrong about my Clippers take. With JF, go ahead.
Yeah, Chris. So going with the constant of what the conversation's been about the past couple of days about the tables turning on the NBA with these young stars are starting to show out. I don't think that the Clippers have that young star yet. I mean, maybe Terrence Mann could be it. With I don't even know, probably Luke Kennard. So there's a lot of questions behind that, and I think what's happening right now is they're putting all their eggs in one basket when it comes to their veterans. I mean, they really added on a 32-year-old to go with another 32-year-old, and Reggie Jackson's a 32-year-old, and Kawhi is what 30 or something like that. So you have a lot of guys that you're depending on that's up there in age, and I think what's happening here is that they're a lot of these organizations, when it comes to roster construction, we're just trying to use money to go ahead and fill out a roster instead of working on development and things like that. So that might be an issue with the Clippers, and if that is an issue, we can see them on a decline throughout the season if Kawhi is not healthy, and the people who they're depending on that need to be there is not healthy as well. So I think Paul George is having a decent year, especially at his age. I think he's still going to do what he needs to do, but if we put that narrative of the NBA going younger, we can see what a lot of teams in which direction they're going to head, and usually right on that. So I'm not too high on the Clippers. There's just even I think the Phoenix Suns have a better chance making the playoffs and a little bit further than them.
Kawhi's 31, and I don't think Terrence Mann is going to blossom into a superstar. I think if he was starting, he's actually a very good player, a very good two-way player. Would probably give you 15, 16, six hard boards, a steal and a half, and some really good defense. Shooting could be a lot better. He gives marks for efficiency, but that's because he finishes at the rim a lot. If he could improve his mid-range game and be a little bit more consistent in his three-point in a higher volume, then there could be some good things there.
Well,
Jordan is a Clippers fan. He also met us here on Clubhouse and came with us here to Twitter Spaces. Jordan, good morning.
Chris, long time no here. How you doing, man?
It is like 35 degrees in the studio room. I'm sick, and the leak that I had to fix, man, that was $3,200. It's rough. It's gonna be a rough January.
Definitely gonna be rough, man. It's 11 degrees at DMV right now, but I'm enjoying every second of it. I'm trying to hold off, trying to wrap these gifts up right now. So Ava might be playing hide and go seek, finding her gifts tomorrow because the way I'm feeling.
Hey, that's why as parents we're allowed to wrap them up Christmas Eve while we go ahead and have a couple of hot toddies. You know, it is cold.
It is. It is. About these Clippers, man. I'm not honestly worried about us right now. That's our second game with a full healthy, our full squad. Now let me look how many games we're in. With the full squad, we're finally getting our everybody healthy playing. As far as for the Terrence, our young players, I'm not concerned about Kawhi and PG. As I said, in the long run, I said come playoff time, if we can stay healthy, then they'd be fine. Somebody who I do want us to blossom, Terrence Mann, as we do know, in the playoffs when we did come back and beat the Jazz, that's when Terrence Mann came and blossom into his. As I said, he can give you a good 12 to 15 points tonight. But who I want us to see blossom is Brandon Boston Jr. As you see, that he's a certified shooter. He can shoot, but of course, he's been assignment for the G League, so we haven't been having him as much. But if we can blossom him coming off the bench, like we have players off the bench, we have Powell, as you do have Kennard who's coming into his element now of finally being able to shoot and not hesitating. Like we have players. The only thing that's going to kill Clippers in the playoffs, honestly, we can stay healthy, is not having an extra big man. Like the small ball is not going to work on certain teams. And as you see, I mean, Embiid is Embiid. He's going to get his. But if you don't have somebody else coming off the bench, I forgot who Sixers backup was. I think it was Reed, if I'm not mistaken. He came in
Yeah, last night it was Reed.
and he was just dominating the rebound, and I'm just like, that's gonna kill us. Like, players like we play Denver or somebody like that, Joker is going to dominate us. Don't get me wrong, Zubac is solid. It's what you can do when Zubac gets tired and then Ty Lue wants to go small ball. Other than that, I'm not worrying about it. Kawhi, this is I think one of his first games. Well, I would say his second game where I actually seen Kawhi in his element since coming back from injury. Paul George, I'm a little disappointed in him because he came out hot the first half and then second half he kind of disappeared. I don't know if that was fatigue with him because Ty Lue basically played him the whole third quarter and then started him the fourth quarter, then gave him a little rest and then put him back out there. So I think he's still trying to go with his adjustments of his lineups. But I mean, with all the injuries and stuff that as everybody knows Clippers have, I think we are fine. We will be fine being, I think we're like the fourth seed right now, a fourth or fifth seed. I'm okay with that. I didn't expect for us to be number 3 or 2 seed right now, especially with everybody coming back. But other than that, Chris, Doc Rivers is not a great coach, so please stop tweeting that out.
How's he not, man?
And please do not pull up that screenshot. I do not want to see that.
I'm asking, how isn't he though? Like he's got the fourth most playoff victories all time. He's over 1,000 wins as a head coach with the winning record.
Doc Rivers
66% winning record since 2008.
is a solid coach. I will give him that, but he is not a great coach. But I will leave that at that. I'll let everybody else talk to you about that. But every time I see you say it, I'm like, Chris, what are you doing? Are you
All right. All right. All right. I hope you and Ava have a great Christmas, Jordan.
you as well, man? Appreciate you as always.
All right. You too. Micah Clark, ladies and gentlemen, the first donation was through him. Give him a round of applause. You hear him almost every day busting his back and his knees out there doing construction. So thank you and shout out to y'all because sometimes that background noise is god awful. We ain't gonna lie. Micah, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Chris. I'm great. Got a day
Wow!
off.
Look at that, y'all. Y'all can hear his
Yeah,
voice. Look at
yeah, I'm
that.
off. But it
That's
is so
amazing.
cold. It is so cold. Even down here in Texas, it is freezing. Golly, 130 hit yesterday, and it's just like dropped like 40 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. How you
yeah.
doing?
I'm great, man. Just
Appreciate
ready to
the
talk.
appreciate the donation. What you got on your Mavs in the NBA?
Um, so I tweeted out. Now, several people agreed, but I guess you didn't. That's where I swear, like, to me, Wood, even though he wasn't getting it offensively, was more impactful than I've seen him in some games. Like, it just felt different. You know what I mean? It's just maybe if we see that more to where he's realizing, okay, even if I don't got it going, I can still contribute to winning. Then maybe we got to talk extension. Like, I don't know. That's just my opinion. Because I think we just go too far off in saying, oh, well, this guy can't be a number two. Well, dude, you got to have the 3, 4, and 5 before a number two even thinks about wanting to come to your team. Like, that's just what it is. But I will say, yes, Doc Rivers is a great coach. It is not his fault that Paul George turned into playoff Pee Wee, pandemic P. It's not his fault that CP0 always chokes in the big moments. So let's let's just keep that same energy for these players that fall off of four other different coaches who's had the same results. Just keep that same energy. That's all I'm going to say for this morning. And Merry Christmas, everybody.
All right. Merry Christmas. And Theo Pinson last night, ladies and gentlemen. That is right. The
Whoa!
Dallas
Oh my God!
Mavericks do not win this game without Theo Pinson.
Oh my God!
Let's talk about it.
The podcaster decided he could play basketball. Good God! What happened?
Jose is going off. Jose, what is this?
Man,
Oh my!
Theo is lucky he's on the NBA roster.
Well, y'all don't win without him last night.
Chris, we don't win if we don't have Luca.
Well, that too.
But like Theo is not an NBA player. Like
Come on,
he
man.
put it.
Give him some respect.
He's savvy because the other day he put out on his new podcast episode about mental health, and there was some lines where he was addressing like Mav's Twitter in a sense, just talking about his aspect of the game, and he was like, "Oh, I could suit up, and I could," like, bro. It took you until last night to hit your first three with the Dallas Mavericks, and you've been here for like a year. And again, I try to be very courteous in how I talk about these NBA players because they've made it to the NBA. They have some type of talent. But Theo Pinson is probably one of the worst NBA players I've seen on the court, besides Facu Campazzo and let me see, J.R. Smith without the Henny.
Joel's like, you will not slander Brooklyn Nets legend Theo Pinson.
I'll give them to you for let me see, Cam Thomas.
Well, that ain't going.
Yeah, that's enough.
Oh well, I mean, if he's loved so much around the league, I mean, go ahead and take him off my hands.
North Carolina Tar Heel alone, Theo Pinson, ladies and gentlemen. TJ is ecstatic that we are up here shining the praise that indeed, not only did the Mavericks need 50 points from Luka, they needed 6 points from Theo Pinson. Micah, question for you for the Mavs. We see Coach Jamal Mosley starting to have some success in Orlando, right? Jason Kidd had success last year. When we look at Jason Kidd this year, what are your thoughts going into essentially 10 games before the halfway mark on Jason Kidd's job the last year and a half?
I mean, it's pretty much the history of Jason Kidd. Like, I hate to put it that way. It's just like he's had pretty much the same history in all three stops to where he puts in this defense that all of a sudden catches a lot of the league off guard. But then after the tape is out on it, it just looks gimmicky. And sooner or later, people learn how to play it easily. But it's so wild to me because it's not just him, but with Steve Nash as well. It's just like, how is it that two players that were like Hall of Fame point guards in their career have no idea how to draw up an offensive set? Like, so.
Oh, that's actually an easy answer. And as I answer this, shout out to Lucas Williams. Appreciate the donation, sir. Every little bit helps. Thank you very much for supporting Hoop Spaces. The part that you're running into, Micah, is, and I actually run into this trying to explain things to my son. People who are experts in their field, who are the elite experts in their field, who see it in a way that they just look at it and naturally understand, oftentimes have an issue communicating what they effectively would do, translating what they would effectively do into what the player needs to do. Because there's a disconnect between what Jason Kidd was able to do in his prime versus what Spencer Dinwiddie can do in his. But it's so easy for Jason Kidd that oftentimes he's thinking he's actually explaining it clearly. And like the same goes for Steve Nash. Like we just don't want to admit it because a lot of us are just anti-Nash. You can see it when they're drawing it up that they understand it, but like when you see the execution, it's real clear that the players don't get it. And like Magic Johnson had this issue, Patrick Ewing had this issue for a while until he finally, I think it was around his eighth or ninth year as an assistant coach when he started. He stopped complaining about not being hired and started really grinding out coaching circuits, which, you go to all these conventions and you talk to all the coaches, exchange information. Jason Kidd never has done that. He's just an innately cerebral basketball mind, and there's a communicative issue translating what he understands to the players and effectiveness. Man, I think my space heater just died.
Oh man,
That is booty. Those are some cheeks right there. All right. Shako hopped up here. Jose hopped up here. We'll get those two as we're talking some Mavs here real quick. Then we're going to hit the button. We'll do a reset. We'll talk to Mr. Goodman from across the pond as a Sixers fan and Malika Walker of the Rewind Pod. First, though, we will go to Shako. Shako, I appreciate you coming up, my brother. I hope all is well. I hope you are enjoying a wonderful Christmas season on an island where there's actual warmth and not this soul-sucking, numbing cold that we're all dealing with.
What's up, my brother? Unfortunately, I have nothing to add to the basketball discourse because I haven't been watching Mavs games in about 2 weeks. The product is just really that bad, but I just came up to say it's been a while, and I wanted to wish you, Hope's family, community, all the Yuletide, happy holidays and season's greetings. Keep doing your thing. Appreciate you still grinding out, Joe. That's all I got.
Oh, appreciate that, Shako. Always willing to come through 77 Spaces. I seen you pop in. I appreciate your support for what we're doing here and the well wishes for everybody, man. I point to you. Jose, close us out on this Mavs talk.
All right, so with Jason Kidd, over the year and I guess a half now, or when I've seen him with the Bucks and the Nets, is he'll have these outlier first seasons, and that's because he's implementing a very aggressive defensive scheme. And with the Mavs last year, you basically changed what they were very good at from an offensive standpoint. You get them to buy in on the defensive end, and a big part of that is because you also got another defensive coach on the bench with him and Sweeney. And something that I had said early in the season is that the Mavs miss Igor Kokoskov, who is now on the Nets bench and drawing up plays for them. I think you need an offensive coordinator to pair with Jason Kidd and Sweeney. But also some things that I don't like about Jason Kidd is that he's kind of like a player's coach. He doesn't want to call timeouts. He wants the players to figure out everything for themselves. And it's just like, bro, like help your players out. And then also when it comes down to the last like couple of seconds of games, there's no real offensive play drawn, and it's basically give it to Luka, ISO, settle for the 30-foot three-pointer to hopefully win or tie the game, and that's just something I don't like about Jason Kidd. And also he doesn't utilize his roster to their core strength. I mean, you have Josh Green, who is having a phenomenal defensive impact on the game. Net rating wise, with Luca and Christian Wood, he's really solid on the defensive end, and yet he hasn't started unless like a Reggie Bullock or Tim Hardaway has missed a game. And then also, like with Christian Wood, you easily see that he is the second best offensive scorer, and yet he still buys in onto the fact that, well, he's not good on defense, so I'm gonna go ahead and put him on the bench, and then I'm just gonna put out my unit of Dorian Finney-Smith, Dwight Powell, Reggie Bullock, or Tim Hardaway Jr., and then Spencer and Dinwiddie, Spencer and Luca, and it's just like it. This could have been solved a long time ago. Whether we have a definitive reason as to why we should re-sign Christian Wood or not, Jason Kidd, I don't know. I'm kind of out on him as a coach. I want him to be able to be just a defensive coordinator and not the head coach. I want somebody to really lean into the roster and give some of these guys who deserve minutes, like Jaden Hardy, McKinley Wright. I think these guys need time to play, and uh, I need a coach willing to allow development and not just force development, or just say, oh well, since this player was on this team last year, they deserve minutes, and they're going 0 of 12 almost every night. Just not acceptable. But that's my Jason Kidd thoughts. I've taken up enough time, so I appreciate it.
You're good. Like you're doing everything but putting the hashtag in your name. It's okay. I understand your frustration. I remember trying to tell Bucks fans the same thing. Like, yo, Jason Kidd might not be the dude you're looking for. Shout out to Robbie, who's got the hashtag fired kid hashtag going in his name. All right, now's the time to hit this button, ladies and gentlemen. We're brought to you by our sponsor, Slam Goods. You can head over to slamgoods.com. Check out the Funko Pops. Check out the digital subscription. Check out the covers, the T-shirts. They're all affordable. They even have a closeout section you can check out where you can save buku bucks on a whole bunch of gear. And you can use promo code HoopSpaces on that and save an additional 15%. As when you use the promo code HoopSpaces, you save 15% off of the entire purchase. Site-wide. Like, they had specials that said no promo code would work. Yeah, our promo code worked. That's how good we are. Promo code HoopSpaces. Save 15% over on slamgoods.com, our sponsor for season 2 of HoopSpaces. Also, if you miss any part of the show, or if you ever want to catch up on the old show, head over to YouTube. You can catch it in entirety unedited to get full context, powered by audiolabs.io. And while you're there, check out Justin Patton's reaction videos. And check out Sunday is for Basketball, covering the NBA with goofy commentary and pure fan reaction. That's what we're doing here. And if you want to be a part of that, just reach out. All it takes is phone with a camera and your ability to speak about your team for 6 to 8 minutes. It's not hard. Be a part of the group. We're growing. All right. Also, if you look up top, I'll get the merch store up there. You can buy some hoodies because it's hoodie season. If you don't have one now, I'm sorry. It's cold. Maybe I should have did it a week ago. And we're also doing the NPR drive for Hoop Spaces. So if we've ever provided value and you have the means to help us, we ask for any donation. Every little bit helps to make sure that we continue to be able to put on this content uninterrupted. We did 200 and now 80 plus episodes dating back from last season to this season. And I'd like to do 280 more. But in order to do that, I need your help. So there. Please and thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to a fellow 76ers fan, our friend from across the pond, Saliba Goodman. Good morning. How are you? Doc Rivers still is a great coach, despite your undesiring way of life of not wanting to mention this pure and simple fact. And we are the 4th or 5th seed heading into the new year. What do you got?
Chris, first of all, happy holidays, man.
Happy holidays.
Keep up the good work, man. I remember first time running into you was on Clubhouse about maybe 2 years ago during lockdown. And obviously, to see you come a long way, and I'm very happy for you. And hopefully, this gets bigger and bigger. Um, I'm so happy, man. I genuinely, I mean, like my whole life is all about staying up nights because I live in London, staying up till 1 a.m., 2 a.m. to watch the 76ers and 8 game winning streak, man. I have to say, Doc is a great coach, man. 8 game winning streak right now. Without Tyrese Maxey, I mean, that game last night, man, it had a lot. For me, I think to start off, I think that I like the fact that James Harden's back, and he looks good, man. He looks really good. I'm in dimes for days, man. It's just ridiculous at this point. The guy had, I mean, 15 assists before we even got into the fourth quarter, and we weren't even leading that game yet. Um, Obviously, we have to start with Dark's. I don't know at this point. I don't know if it's this thing where he believes in players too much. Like, why do you have to play Trez in the beginning? Why do you have to play him at all? Because later on you started Paul Reed, and things fell into place. And I love this belief that he gives players. No matter how bad you play, no matter how many mistakes you make, Dark's still gonna be in your corner, man. He's still gonna give you those minutes. And to me, honestly, I look at that team overall and I see you know, I'm kind of in the right place because I remember saying at the beginning of the season, all I need is these guys to get rolling before the All Star break. If they can get it together and start winning games consistently before the All Star break, I mean that gives them enough time after the All Star break to kind of solidify that unit and go into the playoffs with a plan. Because my main issue is, as good as Embiid has been, as good as Harden looks, with Tyrese Maxey coming back, is when we get to certain positions in the playoffs, is it going to be the same story again? Guys coming short, no one to close at end of quarters because of the way Embiid gets doubled. And I love the ball movement. I love the guys in their threes. Shake Milton, George Niang. You can't really call these guys elite bench players or even really good bench players, but I like the improvement. I like what they're doing. Overall, I have to say, I'm still not expecting too much in the playoffs. I kind of hope we can beat the teams that we should be beating. And then when it comes to the teams like Celtics and the Bucks, I know it's going to be a hard grind. They are better teams than us. We have to be honest with ourselves. But we've seen teams beat teams that they're not better than in the playoffs just by following their plan and sticking to a system. When it comes to Doc Rivers in general, I don't really criticize the guy too much. I don't like criticizing him too much, but at the same time, you can see that he genuinely does react to things. Him taking Trez out and bringing on Paul Reed, and to close out that game was the reason why we pretty much won because of those offensive and defensive rebounds. I just want to say, Chris, I'm not the type of person to take too much about take too much from regular season runs, but games like this, especially a team like the Clippers who have good players, if you can constantly lose the lead and then get back into it, lose the lead again, and then find a way to win, that's all I need is effort. All I need is these guys to stay in games, and we hope for the best, man. But overall, going into Christmas with 8 game winning streak, obviously I'm I'm over the moon, man. So yeah, Chris, other than that, happy holidays and thanks for letting me speak. Thank you, bro.
Absolutely. Happy holidays. Stay warm. 80% of this country is caught in a winter storm. We got another Arctic blast. And the good news for us is it's going to leave. The bad news for you is that it might be strong enough where it actually hits across northern England and pushes some of this Arctic air down to London.
Yeah, I mean,
Brutal,
start
brutal
to come.
cold.
Oh, it's really cold over here too, but it's never going to be like you guys. I don't think.
Yeah. Brutal cold. Hope not. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Malika Walker of the Rewind Pod had a great conversation about the Boston Celtics Larry Bird era. Prior to that, had a wonderful conversation talking Dallas Mavs and Dirk Nowitzki. And Kenny, a whole bunch of people that you probably forgotten already, because as we are fans of the NBA, sometimes we are often fans of the here and now, and we forget how great it was, even if it was just 6, 7 years ago. or if you're older like I am, 30 to 35 years ago. Malika Walker, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Chris.
Ooh, man, the finger was so
It
close.
was close, but
So
yeah.
close.
Thank you. I mean, I was with another screen because I was waiting for my name to be called. But good morning. Happy holidays to everyone. And I hope you have a great time tomorrow. I'm just going to be looking at games, NBA and NFL, and chilling, really. Um, that's going to be my day. But I'm looking forward to today. I'm gonna go see Whitney Houston, the Whitney movie, because I'm just curious to how bad it is. Um, I'm curious, so I'm gonna go check it out. But yeah, you want to talk about last night's game,
Yeah,
or
well, you were at the game. I want to know what the game was for you. Yes.
yeah, I was at the game. It was a great experience being there and being in the seats that I was in. I never saw the game that close, and to be like a few rows from the court, you see the speed of the game. Like when these guys are out for ankles, I mean, or whatever injury, the speed of this game, it's like it. On TV, I don't think you get to see that. It feels different on TV than it did watching it. So I feel like I have a different appreciation for like the speed of the game. It felt like it went so fast compared to when you're sitting in front of the TV and watching it. But I felt it was a solid outing all around. Joe was a late scratch yesterday, so Joe didn't play. But it looks like we were in control of that game. And watching Giannis, I mean, him throwing his body, getting fouls. I was like, it's like I saw it crystal clear. I said he just threw his body there. Like that's not a damn foul. Like that's an offensive. If anything, it's enough. He's the he. It was ridiculous watching it, and I'm separating my appreciation for Giannis and his story, coming from Greece and how he was brought up, from what I saw yesterday. Like jumping into players. Then he again with Kyrie, like what I mean. He could have injured Kyrie. Like I wasn't feeling that part of it, but I don't hate Giannis like a lot of Nets fans do. But I wasn't feeling that. I wasn't feeling
a,
some of
a,
what I saw yesterday.
a lot of people like they don't realize like Giannis plays more like KG than a lot of people think. Like a lot of people thought he's just this big guy. Like he fouls every
Yes,
possession.
and he
Like
doesn't get called for it because
yeah,
he's a
KG
superstar.
did that. Like he picked that up from KG because KG would foul every possession, but like the ref can't foul him out. Like you can't foul out KG in the first 5 minutes of the game.
I think it's bull. I was watching
I
it
mean,
like
you can if you call it fairly.
he clearly jumped into. I saw it a few times. I was like, he jumped it. That's a damn foul. And so,
But conversely, he gets fouled every possession he gets the ball too.
nah.
Oh yeah, you cannot guard Giannis without fouling.
Then they shouldn't call as many fouls. Like like it just wasn't the prettiest game to see. I recorded on my phone one of the a few times he came to the foul line, um, and just like it's just like I appreciate Giannis' story, but watching this game, I was like, my goodness, like I can't wait to the second half and we have the Nets on this side because it's not a pretty game to watch.
Oh yeah,
While
now you understand why that Giannis fatigue sat in with the MVP debate now.
I do get it, and like I said, I have appreciation for Giannis' story and for Giannis as a player. Like I do appreciate what he's done, but his game last night, I was like, I really wasn't. Um, I didn't like some of the things that I saw, but he was out there trying to win for his team. I get that, but Jesus, he could have injured. players a few times, and then the flopping. I was like, "Oh, come on, dude! Your big ass didn't get knocked down
But
from that."
again,
But
he
he's
gets
playing it. He's
fouled.
playing the game. He's playing the game. You know what I mean? That they're allowing him to play. So I can't. You know what I mean? it is what it is. But I was like, nah. And
It's
people around me were cracking up. It's like you watching Giannis for the first time, huh? And everybody started laughing. And I was like, my goodness. And then on TV, it don't look like this.
Yeah,
So
if you watch Mosaic, you can see a little bit more of it because you see all the angles. But if you just watch like the standard national broadcast or team broadcast,
they're
you
usually from the
never see it.
side. You
Yeah,
don't see it from
you never
like from the
see it.
ankle I was at.
Yeah,
So
you
I
never
saw it
see it.
clearly, and I was like, "Oh, I'm not feeling that." As Bank Eye is laughing at me, but
No. Can I
um,
add my 2 cents real quick? I can agree with you because I've seen him play in person, and he is very reckless. Like you get to see more in person from what he does than on TV, and it's true.
Well, they
It
all
was two
are.
seasons ago.
They all are though. That's the thing.
No,
That's
I
the
agree. I
yeah.
agree. But Giannis is
Um.
so big and so like lanky that I feel like you get to see it a little more, and you also
I
get to
saw it
see
a
when
little more
people.
last night. I did.
You,
I saw a little more.
you know
Yeah,
who also has that problem? Miles Turner.
Chris,
If you watch Miles Turner live on defense, like he fouls on every jump, like the way he gets body contact because he's going for the block all the time. Like it's ugly.
That's why we lost last night, Chris.
It's ugly. All right, go ahead and finish up, Malik. We got two Nets fans who want to hop up in here and talk about it.
yeah, I mean, it was great seeing KD and do to see the offense as synchronized as it was. KD, Kyrie, Royce did his thing. Watching Ben. Ben is such a team player. Like when he's on the floor, he's gonna do what he can to push the team to have a shot. To like he's going to push the team on the defensive end. Like, so I love watching him play. I don't give a damn what his numbers is. I saw him on that floor yesterday, and he made an impact, and he did his thing. Um, and the Bucks missed Chris Middleton. We didn't have Joe Harris, but we were okay. Roy stepped up. I mean, Curry was out there, and you know what I mean. That was cool, but I think that like Royce definitely stepped up last night, and that was appreciated. And the Nets fans, actually, you heard them; they were loud. So I appreciated that. So it was
All
one
right.
of the best experiences I had at Barclays.
That's good. Um, it's real good. I'm glad you're able to go and get seats that good so you can see Giannis up close in person. Now you got to go back in time, watch some KG film and know that KG was doing the same thing. We'll go to
Funny thing is, I am going to do that.
it's yeah, you'll that's I keep people don't like the bad facts. They only like the good facts. We'll go to where Brooklyn at. We'll go to him first. We'll go to Joel. Keep it 60 seconds so we can keep it moving. I'm only going to go 40 minutes. My space heater died. It is dropping in temperature in my studio, and I'm not going to make it that much longer. Go ahead. Where at Brooklyn?
Hey, what's going on, Chris? Thank you for allowing me up. Happy holidays to everyone. Hope you have a wonderful holiday, Christmas tomorrow. And it won't take me long at all. Just want to piggyback off Malika. I've seen Giannis plenty of times, of course, living so close to Milwaukee. I go to a lot of Nets Milwaukee games and at the Clays also. So, yeah, yesterday was pretty dope. Just want to say real quick, we're the only team the last 10 games in the NBA, 9-1. Only team in the NBA. We're on a roll right now. I'm happy. I remember the last time, no, time before last I was on here, I was talking about Nash and I had to fire Nash. What a difference a Jacques makes. Um, we are on the roll right now. And I'm so excited. I hope we get this third seed. We're in the fourth seed now, so I hope we get this third seed. But the guys are looking good. Kai didn't do so well yesterday, but we still got the win, double digits. So I'm excited. I'm excited. Go
Kai
Nets.
was all right though. He wasn't,
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't. Yeah.
But he wasn't himself last night. He wasn't him at the last night.
Kyrie's problem is Kyrie is not a volume shooter. He needs to drive, and he can't really necessarily drive as consistently when he shares the floor with Ben Simmons, because Ben Simmons and Nick Claxton will not shoot the ball. So
that's a fact.
That's true. That's
clogs
true.
the lane. So anytime, which is again another reason why I say Ben Simmons should be coming off the bench. Not because he can't start, he can. But if he came off the bench, you don't have that issue. If you have Edmund Sumner there, he'll shoot the three. He doesn't need to be good. He just needs to hit 32%. So the defense has to be honest, and it opens up the lane, makes the offense that much more difficult to stop, because you can have Kyrie then drive freely, Royce over in his favorite three-pointer spot, and then Kevin Durant can play anywhere and dominate the mid-range. And then you bring Ben Simmons in and you run them off the court. You get TJ Warren cutting, you get Utah, you get Curry out there shooting, Joe Harris out there. Yeah, that's in a good position. Joel, close us out, man. Give yourself 60 seconds, and we got to move on to the next game.
Yeah, so I'm a Giannis fan, so it's very difficult to be a Giannis fan when you're part of Nets Twitter, because God, do they hate him. I've defended Giannis before, but one thing that I don't like about Giannis is that he's reckless, but his reactions after, right? Like, so when he injured Kyrie during that playoff series where KD had his toe on the line in Game 7, when he injured Kyrie there, and he was angry at the refs that he was called for a foul. And last night when he tried some weird shit on Claxton, again, he was annoyed and pissed at Claxton, even though he made a dangerous play. So, that's one thing that I really don't like about Giannis. So that's just what I wanted to say. Last year I was at the Bucks game in Barclays Center. We were actually sitting right behind the Yes crew, and I'm looking to come to Barclays again this March. So I want to quickly ask Malika, right? You don't have to say, of course, but I was considering, maybe sitting courtside, but just ballpark. Like, what kind of money are we talking about courtside in Barclays? Do you have an idea?
Expensive.
1,800, like between 15 and 1,800.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Yeah, expensive. But yeah, the reactions after are even hilarious. It's like, you know what you did, dude.
Exactly.
Stop it. He has to sell it. He has to sell that he doesn't think he fouled, but come on now. Really?
That was funny because just I don't think you're gonna want to pay for the court side, Joel. Just saying.
Yeah, that's a bit too much.
Yeah.
May I say one more thing, Chris? Real quick.
Yeah, go ahead. 30 seconds.
Okay, real quick. I just want to see. I see TJ down there. I'm in the Bay for the holidays, and I had on my Nets apparel yesterday, and we blew them out by 30 points. So I got some weird looks. Just want to say that already happened, TJ. So that's it.
All right. Well, I guess he knows what's up. I mean, I don't feel bad for any Tar Heels fan if that's what you're alluding to.
No,
I'm not
beat
really
the Warriors by 30.
Oh yeah, I was getting there. I was just rubbing stuff in. Like, you gotta go with the show. I don't feel bad for Warriors fans losing to the Knicks and the Nets, and like TJ, unfortunately, is both a Tar Heel and a Warriors fan. Odd combination, just bad for the holidays this year. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got some more basketball to talk, including the New York Knicks wasting an R.J. Barrett masterpiece, because R.J. Barrett is really good at basketball, and y'all should really listen to me when I talk about basketball, because I say things like this and get laughed at, and then I get to play this. I'm trying to tell you, I knew this was happening before it was happening. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, I told you so. People are like, oh, if he was really good, he would score 30. Yeah, he scored 44 because he finally had a really uber efficient game. God, he's 22. The efficiency is going to come when he's around 25, y'all. Buckle up. 44 points last night for Mr. R.J. Barrett, 14 for 20 from the floor. That is 70%. 6 for 6 from deep. That is 100%. 10 for 13 from the line. That's like 72 and change. Shame on you for not filling out the RJ Barrett apology form when I had it available for you. Because now I don't really feel like digging up my last tweet to say I tried to tell you so, because y'all just don't want to say I was wrong. The Knicks and Tom Thibodeau, for whatever reason, decided to not have the ball in the hands of the hottest player on the court, Mr. RJ Barrett. Instead, the Bulls got the ball back and had the ball in the hands of their hottest player in the fourth quarter, DeMar DeRozan, who sinks a beautiful jump shot. He has a magnificent 18-footer. To lead the Bulls over the Knicks 118-117, putting the Knicks down in a 2-game losing streak, and the Bulls in a much-needed 2-game win streak. And still yet, I can't find anybody who believes in the Chicago Bulls. Nobody wants to ever come up and talk about the Chicago Bulls because they're the Chicago Bulls, and I don't think anybody believes in them. The Knicks, however, actually played well in spite of Tom Thibodeau's quirky decisions late in the game. Up on stage, we have Bonkai to tell us about it. Bonkai, why did y'all lose?
We lost because of free throws. Free throws, 15 for 26 from the free throw line. You cannot do that. It'll eventually come back and bite you in the ass. And what happened? It bit us in the ass. We had the game basically won. Julius Randle missed one free throw, I think at the fourth minute mark. Quentin Grimes missed two free throws down in the clutch. Then Jalen Brunson, who's supposed to be one of our best free throw shooters, missed two free throws. And that was basically game. I get it. The hand should have been in RJ's hands a little bit more. But while I believe that, I also believe that he was starting to get double teamed as soon as he touched the ball. So it made it a little bit harder for him. And he was doing the right thing. He was passing the ball when he was getting doubled instead of forcing it much. But again, the Knicks just hit the free throws, and we're having an entire different conversation. We're talking about RJ's 44, which we are talking about it, but we're talking about it in a better light. We're talking about Julius Randle dropping 25, and I believe it was 25 and 13.
29 and 12.
29 and 12, which was really efficient. He's looking like COVID Randle again. And we're not talking about a loss, and we're going into Christmas Day with one win instead of potentially staring at a 3-game losing streak, because the Sixers are hot. Like, they're real hot right now. And they're playing at the Garden, and everybody gets up to play at the Garden. We still haven't figured out how to win there for some reason. We're good on the road. We have one of the best road records in the NBA, but we just haven't figured out how to win at home yet. I think we're like 7-8 or 7-9. And, if this team wants to be a winning team, they got to figure that out quickly. At least we're 18 and 15, so we're still sixth in the East, but can lose games like this, especially because of free throws.
Yeah, all I want to know is where's the guy on Nick Twitter who tried to tell me Quentin Grimes was better than RJ Barrett?
Who was that?
I don't know his name.
Do you know? You don't remember the name at all? Nothing?
Nah, I just.
I'll have to do some digging and double check. I mean, there's a lot of people that said a lot of stuff. Like, I mean, people who wanted RJ traded, they didn't want RJ here anymore, saying he was a bust and he was ass, and I don't know, so much stuff. But a lot of people gave up on him. The apology form is up there. You might as well sign it. I mean, the kid was never a scrub. He always showed that he could play basketball. I mean, he has his struggles here and there, but once he gets it going, he gets it going. You know what I mean? He's talented.
Yeah. I'm just gonna put the tweet out. Yeah.
I posted the picture up there if you need it.
Oh nah. I just put a tweet. I was asking where's the guy on Nick's Twitter who tried to tell me RJ Barrett wasn't good.
And listen, there's too much wishy-washy stuff in Nick's Twitter sometimes. I mean, like, look, like Quentin Grimes and Jalen Brunson, they both miss free throws. Fine. You know what? Stuff like that happens even sometimes to the best of players. But at the end of the day, there's still two of our better shooters and free throw shooters at the same time. So to come up here and not come up here because nobody said it, but yesterday, in spaces, like, to completely destroy them and saying they were ball hogs and they missed because, because of agendas and shit like that. I mean, that's just stupid. I mean, they miss free throws. It happens. It just happens. Hopefully, they practice more on that, and it won't happen again. But again, sometimes it's just how the ball rolls.
All right, so the Knicks actually they shot the lights out, 50% from the floor, 46 from deep. Chicago shot 48 and 45, but they shot 14 for 18. They made their free throws at a higher percentage, but New York actually got to the line more, which is why you can actually definitively say, had they just hit their free throws, had Quentin Grimes hit one, had Julius Randle hit one, they'd go into overtime. Had two more been hit, they would have won. Micah, your thoughts? Because you probably watched this Knicks game because it's getting readily apparent that you are starting to ooze two-team fandom. We're starting to get worried as the epidemic sweeps through NBA Twitter. Micah, go ahead.
No, it's just happening that way because it seems like we're the same team. I mean, it's not a surprise because we keep on swapping players back and forth. But how many times have we had Mavs lost off of free throws?
I don't know.
It's tough. It's tough. I'll just put it that way. I believe we have like 7, 8 losses that are based solely on free throws. And man, it happens. It does happen to the best of us. Like we saw, we beat Brooklyn because KD, who had been shooting like 95%, missed a free throw. And
did you watch the Knicks game? Because I thought you were wanting to talk about the Knicks game.
Yeah. I mean the Knicks game. Okay, so to me, I've always looked at them like there's a lot of players that would be elite, like second or third option on their team, but I don't know if they had that guy. You know what I mean? That can really like put the team on their back. And like, so when you have close games like that, and you don't have that guy, I don't know where you go from there.
I can get that. I mean, that's supposed to be either Randall or Barrett. They'll. I think Barrett has a better chance of getting there than Randall because I think Randall doesn't really have the offensive repertoire to do that. He tends to go to the same places for the same shots in the same situations.
I agree 100% because if you watch Julius Randle trying to run out the clock and get a shot at the last few minutes of it is usually always a disaster. Like it's either a turnover or he throws up some crazy wild shot. I don't know why they insist on making him like some sort of closer when he's not. I guess because he hit a buzzer beater against the Washington Wizards in preseason last season. Tom Thibodeau has some type of vision, but he never at the end of quarters, he never gets an efficient shot or anything like that.
You don't really have the guy to do that. Like RJ needs to develop that. Brunson needs to develop that. Randall needs to still develop that. And the problem, the reason why they give it to Randall is because he has one thing that the other two don't, and that's usually the ability to get into the body and possibly draw a foul. But for whatever reason, Randall doesn't use that ability. He ends up trying to become a finesse guard.
I agree with you. I think we need number one and a scorer off the bench. Like we really need a scorer off the bench. Like hopefully, Leon Rose is picking up, calling the phones, and trying to see if we can get Malik Beasley. A lot of Knick fans, surprisingly, a lot of them want Kyle Kuzma. I don't know how that will work out, but.
Yeah, I don't see how Kyle Kuzma helps. But
yeah,
we have a Bulls fan up here. My brother Sam is going to go ahead and talk his talk, as this might be one of the only joyous occasions for the Bulls this holiday season. Sam, good morning.
Good morning, brother. Happy holidays to everybody, sis, Malika. Happy holidays to you. Also the Bonkai JF Cakes. Just looking at what happened last night. I'm glad that we got the win, but I still don't understand. Well, I under, let me not say that I don't understand the Bulls. Um, it was a good win. It was another, nail biter that, in my opinion, should not, have needed to be. But my Bulls have been an enigma all season. Looking at everything, I think that we just have a highly emotional team, and highly emotional. It's like when we win, depending on how we win and where we win, like it's a good conversation. But there's everything under the surface that's like, okay, well, Zach feels some type of way because he don't always get the win. And, DeRozan has been the constant, for us this season, the same way that he was for us last season. But then we have so much turmoil that's going internally and so much turmoil that we can't even figure out, that it doesn't even give us the ability to like kind of like right the ship and figure out what we're going to be for this season. And it's unfortunate because we actually have talent to compete and to be that, but nobody wants to accept their role. Nobody wants to accept what it is that, is required and necessary for this team to actually go and be great. So it was a good win. I love a buzzer beater when I get to see it, but I don't think that it means anything in the grand scheme of, Bulls basketball or even Knicks basketball.
Oh, so you're talking about the Bulls, your Bulls' favorite team, or the Lakers?
Really, Malika?
Yeah. This is Rich coming from the Hornets fan from
Like,
Brooklyn.
Oh, I'm admitted. I
hey,
admit it.
listen,
I've
Malika,
always
you've
admitted
known
it.
me for 3 years. Like,
I
I
know.
have my
I'm just
dual
poking at you.
citizenship. So why are we bringing this up? I'm talking about the
We got dual
Bulls.
citizenship. I'm just playing with you.
I
I'm
love you
just playing
too.
with you.
I love you too.
The next game we'll be talking about, ladies and gentlemen, will be Heat and Pacers. Heat and Pacers will be the next game. If you want to come on up, get ready to do that. I'm going to go ahead and hit this button, though, and do another read. I cannot believe my space heater died. That is annoying. It is now freezing in here. Brought to you by Slam Goods. Head over to slamgoods.com and do yourself a favor. Like, listen to me. Do yourself, in fact, actually, here. Yeah. Do yourself a favor. Go buy the Sean Kim Funko Pop while you still can. It's $20. Like, I've been doing this now long enough where I have seen the trend. The Funko Pop thing is real. At $20 and you get 15% off using promo code HoopSpaces, you're going to get a limited edition Funko Pop bobblehead thing. Like, those things are going to be worth money. All right, back to the music. Slamgoods.com, where you can go get a gift for your basketball fan in your life or yourself. Use promo code HoopSpace to save 15%. And if you don't want to get a Funko Pop because you don't know what that is, that's cool. I didn't know until I stumbled across it. You can go get yourself, the digital subscription of Slam Magazine, which is a great magazine if you're of an age. You remember reading it, whether it was at the barbershop, whether it was in line in the bodega, whether it was at the grocery store, it was there. And you picked it up, tried to sneak an article. You don't have to do that. You're an adult. Go spend $20 and use promo code HoopSpaces, save 15%, and go read some good basketball talk. Yeah, I like that. I hope all of you have a great Christmas. I am going to have a Christmas that is always great because when I have time to spend it with friends and family, that tends to be my barometer. The last couple of years building this, I've been supported by some wonderful people, such as Sam here himself, Malika, Sean with a W, Who Spaces Ryan, and then like today, I want to say a big shout out again once to Micah, who also has donated, right, as well as Lucas. Now the bomb goes off for McKenzie. Appreciate you, sis, supporting the show. Anything and everything helps. Trying to get set up for a new wave coming in the beginning of the season. I appreciate it. We'll go to Bankai. I don't know what he wants to say. He's going to say something. We'll decide whether or not show kill status because we should be talking Heat and Pacers, but he's got his hand up, so I don't know what this is about. Bankai, what?
Yeah, I was going to say how rude of me when I came in. Happy holidays to every one of you. Malika, Chris, Sam, JFK, all of you, Micah. Uh, and I will say this, okay, the Nets are playing good basketball. I'll give props where props are due. They're playing really good basketball. Yeah.
I
Well,
mean, like we talked about the Nets like 3 games ago, Mike. Where was that at? Like,
I wasn't up here, you know. Oh, and I'll be at the game. I'll be at the game tomorrow. So hopefully I get to see a win and not a loss.
all right, yeah. Pacers and Heat, ladies and gentlemen. Tyrese Halliburton has arrived. If you had listened to me when I started telling you this, you would already been ahead of the curve, ladies and gentlemen. I tried to tell you the only 2 players that are outproducing him are Luka Doncic and Jason Tatum. You can add Nikola Jokic in there after the last week that he's had. Tyrese Halliburton last night, 43 points on 14 for 20, 10 for 16. That's right, 10 for 16 from deep, 7 assists. He is likely to end up this season's assist leader. He's got a substantial lead, barring severe injury. He is also likely to challenge for 50, 40, 90, and potentially actually gives you the highest in percentage wise if he continues this torrid pace. Defeating the Miami Heat 111-108 in Miami. There's problems in Miami, and we're here to talk about it. We'll go to JFK first, though. JFK, appreciate you. Merry Christmas. You've been here day in, day out, covering this Miami Heat squad since last season. Go ahead and break down the game. We'll bring in 5 Level Killer because I already know he is of me, of like mind, that Tyrese Halliburton is the best pure point guard in the league. However, I will say Luka is ahead of him because that's the position he plays for Mavericks. Go ahead, JF.
Yeah, so happy holidays to everybody in Hoot Spaces. Yeah, it's been a while, Chris. And to be honest with you, it takes a strong skinned Heat fan to be up here through thick and thin. And we're going through some thin right now, Chris. 4 minutes left to. Well, I expected Jimmy Butler to come in with at least 4 minutes left to go, but they officially announced that he was out with a sprained ankle. So, gotta see how serious that is. I think last night what we saw is still not we're not consistent on the offensive end. We did see bright spots from Max Strus last night, which we haven't seen in a couple games. So that was a good thing. I think Victor Oladipo, he's continuing his path to go ahead and be that bench spark we need to go along with Tyler Hero whenever Spoelstra puts that in. A lot of rumblings of Kyle Lowry needs to come off the bench, but I think he's fine where he's at. But we're still lacking in big men. And to be honest with you, Miles Turner fouls a lot, Chris. Bam has been going up against a lot of people this year and has been successful against a lot of people. But it seems every time he goes against Miles Turner, it's like he's falling down, or you know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't look like a pretty shot that he's creating. And I don't know. I guess they give it to him, but whatever. It is what it is. His shot wasn't really there. He's actually more consistent scoring in the paint, obviously. And he's had like good runs with it, scoring like 48 points straight in the paint, whether it be like back to back games or whatnot. But the biggest problem, like I said, Chris, is that we need to start adding pieces, a little bit younger pieces that can go ahead and be around the core that we have, which is Hero and Bam, and they're playing at an All Star level this year. I hope they make it to the All Star game, but it's all on voting, and I don't really trust Miami in voting. So moving forward, I think that we can go ahead and be sustainable to be at least the 7th seed going into the playoffs. I know we dropped below 500, but looking at the next couple games, we got the Lakers and the different teams like that. Not until we hit the Nets is where I'm going to start, seeing where we actually are against good competitive teams. So for right now, I really didn't want to watch the game last night. I turned it off. Then they started doing something, so I turned it back on. And then they just kind of like Tyrese Halliburton kind of disappointed me. I think that last play was a miscommunication on a lot of people's parts, but it happens. I'm not too mad about that. If we lose on a last shot and miscommunication on the defensive side, at least it wasn't on the offensive side this time because boy, I would have had some concerns. Tyler Hero did make that three to tie up the game, so I can't be too mad. I'll just say let's move on to the next game and see what else we can do and see how serious this ankle injury is with Jimmy.
All right. Yeah, the fact he didn't come in, it surprised me. So like that kind of told me like it was kind of serious. Because if it was just like a tweak, he probably would have tried to close the game out. Yeah, no, I think the Heat are in more trouble than most Heat fans probably want to admit. Because they don't really have a lot of movable pieces at the moment. I mean, you can move Max Struess because of his contract size, but like you're not getting anything back because he's only like 1.7 mil, so you have to attach him to somebody. So that means you'd have to attach him to Caleb Martin or Vic or Deadman, but then you're barely clearing 10 mil with Vic, and if you do that, you're trading away two pieces. So like it's hard. Like Deadman and
You,
Struess is the move, but you're not getting back anybody of relative value except maybe from Charlotte, Plumlee to
and
be a
I
backup
would
big.
I wouldn't mind that, Chris, because at least he does like at least 12 rebounds. That's something we definitely need. But I'm looking more for a four. I think what happens. I was just thinking about somebody mentioned Kyle Lowry going to the bench. I don't know if he shows his value off the bench. Maybe there's a team that's looking for a point guard that needs to come off the bench.
Yeah,
So
not at 28 mil.
uh,
Not
it,
at 28 mil, man. Like,
I don't
yeah.
know, Chris. It's just around the NBA, the roster construction. It's like, how do so many teams miss on like a piece here and there, or not have a bench or a developmental program? Like, it's really bad across the league. I don't know what the focus is and or what it should be, what the blueprint should be, heading into the next
Well,
era.
right now the only blueprint should be how to either get Duncan Robinson or Kyle Lowry's roster off the books. Let me get 5 level killer in here so he can preach some Tyrese Halliburton goodness. Then we'll head over to
Yeah,
the Heat are testing my patience.
yeah. I got like yeah. So Tyrese Halliburton is the best pure point guard in the NBA right now. When it comes to getting people involved first and still getting their own bucket, what we've seen from point guards or somebody that knows how to do that very well at a high elite level, that's him. Before he had his ACL injury as a rookie, he was teetering 50, 40, 90 in Sacramento. Sacramento might regret making that move. That's a fact. He has this team that shouldn't be where they at, playing at a high level. He practically might have just gave Miles Turner $100 million contract from the Indiana Pacers, or a big healthy contract, because he was Miles Turner was on his way out. Miles Turner is looking like we got something here. I might not want to leave this. What y'all want to do? Extend me. I'm just saying though. Like it was hopeless, and he made him give hope. You got a great rookie to build around for the future to be a starter. You still got a little bit of trade bait. You know you got your point guard and your wing of the future. You could build around that. You might got your backup point guard and Ryan Newhart. Like y'all, listen, that's a good team over there. Now,
Andrew Nimhard. Andrew
now this is the
Nimhard.
thing: is Rick Carlisle gonna be there long enough to fuck this up? That's the question.
Well, no, because he's going to cede it to Lloyd Pierce.
Okay, see, that's the thing. That's all I'm. That's the whole thing. Now with
Yeah, Lloyd Pierce is the
now
next
with
coach.
Miami, Miami is one of many teams right now that was in that 3 point buyers market. That oh, we got a 3 point player. That all of them 3 point shooters that got paid great money are nobodies right now. Nobodies. They are. That is the worst market that people brought in, and and Duncan Robinson might be the oh my god, like him and Kyle Lowry's contract are the worst things Miami's done in the past 2 years. You gave There's a reason why Toronto ain't paying him, and y'all gave him 90, and he ain't giving you nothing, nothing, and you're not getting off that
Well,
backup.
to be fair, he's actually done well this season.
Yeah, and they where they at? Yeah, okay. Yeah,
I never
yeah.
said anything other than he did well, man.
Yeah.
Like, why are you coming at
I just want to
me?
keep it
I'm
fair.
just giving you the
I just gave
facts.
you back the biggest fact. His gameplay lands where they at. This is like he's not like to be realistic. They need to make a couple of calls to a couple of teams. Like I would literally try to make a call to a team like a team like Golden State that got some young real estate that you could build around because you're old. You're not young at your best positions, which is point guard and shooting guard or small forward. Jimmy Butler's injured. He's injury riddled right now. So you're not really getting the real Jimmy Butler that you need to get his team that. So you might gotta go get a Kaminga or somebody that's young that could give you some type of lift. Cause unless Victor Oladipo come back somewhere near anything, it's bad. It's really bad. It's bad.
Let me get another Heat fan in here. This is Heat and Five. He's changed his name again to the Heat. Are testing my patience, and I think the Heat are testing the patience of all Miami faithful. You hear Five Level Killer, breaking down from an outside perspective. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, he's not wrong. Happy holidays, first of all, Chris and everybody. But the Heat have a lot of problems right now. It's not looking good for them, and like you said, they just don't have a lot of options. Um, Personally, I think they really just need to choose a direction. And if they're 500 close to the deadline, they may need to just start moving off some of these assets and look towards next season. Because I mean, with this roster, when you have a Jimmy Butler, a Bam, just like losing in the first round is not really a moral victory for us anymore. I mean, we're not the Knicks, so they need to make decisions. They need to try to move Duncan Robinson, get whatever they can for Gabe and Max, and yeah, that's where they are right now. They're kind of stuck.
Yeah, I always figured the get out of jail free card or the Among Us. My son has stumbled among this thing called Among Us. I don't know anything other than it's like these uh, genderless cartoon things and these spacesuits and whatnot. But there's a meme my son found, and like they hit that emergency panic button. I see if Pat Riley can't get like a Jay Crowder, which is probably the simplest trade or buyout candidate he might be able to get, they are probably going to have to say, look, we'll send Duncan Robinson and Max Strus out plus a first to just get off of the contract, plus possibly bring in some help for this season if they keep teetering around 500, because it's pretty well set in. 500 is going to be the cutoff for the play-in. We got Micah's hand up. Micah, what are your thoughts for the Heat? Next game up, we'll be talking Memphis Grizzlies, ladies and gentlemen. We'll also start bringing in some of the games for tomorrow as we get ready to get out of here a little bit early. Since the space heat is cut off, it's about 40 degrees, and I'm not going to stay in here that much longer. Micah, go ahead.
Yeah, real quick, my thoughts. The Heat's issue is just like it's been said several times. These 3-point specialists that aren't good defenders don't have value anymore. Like they've lost value like crypto. Like it's bad. Like there's a bunch of these. Hell, we got them on our team. There's a bunch of these guys that are getting like 18, 16 that realistically should be getting more around 8 or 9 because of the value that they bring to your team. And like, just like I've noticed with our own team, I've noticed it with Miami, is that instead of trying to build with the ancillary pieces, they're always big fish hunting. And whenever the big fish doesn't come through, you end up overpaying role players. And it just starts a bad cycle that just doesn't end well for the team. But that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I think what happened is the league caught up. I said it earlier. Like Father Time is undefeated, but we only view Father Time generally in one direction, and that's towards the end of the career. Memphis is better, right? New Orleans is better. Boston is phenomenally better. Milwaukee is still good. Philly is good, but Orlando is better,
The Knicks are better.
right?
The
The Knicks are
Pacers are
better. The
better.
Nets are better. So when Father Time catches up, when the young teams start to gel and get better, we find that, you know what, some of the teams that had been steady for 5 years or so, they're going to struggle because change is inevitable, and if they don't change with the times, they become the next Charlotte Hornets or Chicago Bulls. Yikes! All right, next game. The Pacers beat the Heat, but also last night the Grizzlies beat the Suns. And what was really phenomenal is you got to watch two really, really good point guards, literally back to back, ladies and gentlemen. I went from Tyrese Halliburton to John Morant, and it was phenomenal. 125, 100. Desmond Bain is back. And here to talk about it is Grindhouse Grizz. Grindhouse, good morning.
Good morning, Chris. Good morning, room. Yeah. Last night was a good win. You know, they didn't have Devin Booker and all that, so they, of course, they're gonna put up that safety net on what happened. A few weeks ago, the Suns fans or fan base or whatever was in a big uproar because Zion Williamson had a dunk at the end of the game, right? Well, last night, the over and under last night was 125 and a half. And of course, you just said the score and everything. Well, the Suns tried to sneak in a basket at the end, but Santi Aldama wasn't having none of that. So anybody that bet on the game last night, y'all can thank and bet the under, y'all can thank Santi Aldama because the Suns really did try to sneak in a basket right there at the end. But yeah, the guys just went out there. First time we ever had our fully healthy lineup starting five this season, so that was really good to see. The chemistry was there pretty much right off the bat. What I was very, very happy to see, and most Grizz fans probably could attest to this. Dylan Brooks, the man had 9 shot attempts last night. You can't ask anything better than that from a Dylan Brooks. But 7 for 9 last night, very efficient game, and not taking bad shots, feeding the post, which we have been crying about all season long. Just feed Jaren Jackson the ball in the post and let him go to work, and that's exactly what we did last night. Dylan Brooks was the main key to that, and they went out there and took care of business.
All right, I'm just going to ask point blank. Are the Memphis Grizzlies the team to beat in the Western
Yes,
Conference?
yes, they are. They gotta be. They have to be.
Yeah, I mean, our fearless leader said it. We're fine in the West.
All right, I'll get the poll out, ladies and gentlemen. I will appreciate a retweet of the poll. Are the Memphis Grizzlies the team to beat in the Western Conference? I happen to think it is the Denver
Yo,
Nuggets
can I
because I just
like to
think.
me? I'm just
Go
gonna
ahead.
say this. To me, I I don't think the Denver Nuggets bench is going to get them far. I think they have a great starting unit, but once you get past a starting unit, that's where Memphis is going to beat a lot of teams because in the West, there's not too many deep. The only team with the deepest bench in them with them is New Orleans. After that, the benches start to get weak, and Memphis has probably the best point guard off the bench, one of the best power forwards slash centers off the bench. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty much hard. Yeah, like and they players that's in the bench now were starters in the beginning of the season, so they got time. They've been balling together. Yeah, this is a scary team. I don't see too many teams, and they got how can I say they have a lot of they have a lot of how can I say they're not rookies no more going into this playoff thing. They've had 2 playoff series under their belts already. They won one and they lost in the second round in the next year. I think that they're ready to take that leap and they could do it. They could do it.
All right, Micah, go ahead.
I mean, they're looking like a scary team. I think there are people that would beat them just because I truly believe styles make fights, and that I'll die on that hill. But man, Chris, They are who we thought they were. Good God. How many whoopings they going to take on their home court? Lord of mercy. Yeah, their window's closed, Chris. Like, I've just seen this movie before, and yeah, Phoenix is done. I don't know where they go from here, what moves they can make, but as far as the iteration that we've seen, I think that's cooked.
Yeah, Suns they talk. Yeah, they're in trouble.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah,
How do
go
y'all
ahead.
feel about Dylan Brooks and Michael Bridges? Because I've always been interested in why people think Michael Bridges is like so much better than he really is.
Because he's a more consistent
Yes,
shooter.
he's a great 3-and-D player. Dylan Brooks has that. Dylan Brooks is the not IQ quite version of Draymond Green. Like
Well,
he's a fire
I
starter.
think McCall and Dylan play the same position. I think Dylan is just not as consistently a good shooter. Like we're talking 5 points too, like minimum. Because like I think if I remember correctly, McCall's a career 51% shooter. Like Dylan is 42. So
Yeah,
like
but like so like last night, right? Like they pretty much needed Michael Bridges to be a little bit more than what he usually is, right? Like kind of a two-way player. Dylan Brooks has been asked to do that time and time again this season. And I just think that Dylan doesn't struggle to, I mean, yes, the efficiency might not be up there, but Dylan can get his shot off a lot better. He can get to the rim a lot better. And to be honest with you, I just think he can guard 1 through 4 a little bit more crisp than Michael Bridges, who can pretty much just guard the 3 or the 2.
I mean I think Mikal Bridges' defense is more uh, statistical based in terms of shot chart, and I'm not. I love analytics, but I there's a line that I draw. But it really is him coming out of Villanova a champion, and then him being the more consistent shooter throughout his career. That's the only reason. Um, but if you ask him to be a 1A or 1B, you don't get good results. Like you don't.
Can I ask a question, Chris?
Sure, before we move on to the next game.
Do best friends ask for this trade now? Uh, Phoenix to Minnesota, Cat and D'Lo for Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton.
No.
I would, cause
Yeah, nah. that nah. Why would Minnesota want to trade that for either a buyout or rental of Chris Paul? And a player who doesn't want to play in Minnesota.
that is,
Like that's the like DeAndre's already said like where he wants to play. Like he said it when he signed the offer sheet with the Pacers. Um, like there's a whole history there too, and then Toronto's game, and I wouldn't also rule out a couple other
you would
teams
rule out
if
Atlanta.
they're. Well, I was gonna say unless like I rule them out unless they're willing to trade current players. Like the Heat wouldn't take on Aiton unless they were going to move off of Bam, right? And that would be saying we view Bam better than Aiton, so we'll swap, but you give us something else. Not saying the Heat would even consider that. I don't think they do. But I'm just saying in places where DeAndre Ayton has said he would want to play before. The other team in Atlanta, they would have to give up, Clint Capella and Onyeka Okongwu to ensure that DeAndre's getting 32 minutes at the 5. And at that point, you're Atlanta like, why am I doing that? I'm paying more money for less stats and less bodies. So then that makes Phoenix have to pay out more, and Phoenix isn't trying to pay out. So the only place that makes it a viable, easy trade is Indiana, or if if the Lakers feel like they're going to strike out on everything in the offseason, they could say, well, hey, Phoenix, how about we give you cap space and 2 first-round picks, and you can accelerate your rebuild, either use the picks to trade and bring in a player to go with Bridges and Booker, or go full rebuilding. And that was the new ownership coming in too. Like it's going to be super salty. Like I think there's going to be major changes in Phoenix, and like I think we could see an exodus.
One last thing, Chris.
Yeah, go ahead.
Warriors. Oh, we ready for y'all tomorrow, baby. First Christmas Day game for the Memphis Grizzlies. And everything like that. So they're the 11th seed right now. So I'm gonna say we're gonna treat them like an 11th seed.
Yes,
So
it's looking
go
like a dog
Grizz.
walk tomorrow.
Warriors.
I don't like this talk. Y'all are talking about the Suns like having to rebuild and all that nonsense. But they only lost 2 in a row. It's December, y'all. Come on. What we doing, bro? What we doing, Chris?
Zazu. This is the problem with the Phoenix Suns. His name's Chris Paul. Like, it's over.
Hey, look, they can still make trades, bro. They can still retool themselves.
Who? Who? Like, I don't see people lining up to get campaign, dog. Like,
Yeah, it might be
Hey, look, all it takes is just one successful trade, and you never know, man. For example, look at the talk with Atlanta Hawks. How Trae Young is apparently unhappy. They got Zach LaVine over there on the other side unhappy. They're trying to talk about shipping out the Rosen. There's all the players that are going to probably be available come like by the deadline. So you never know, bro. So like I said, the team has assets right now to be successful in the playoff. Like I'm not going to write them off yet because we know what they can do and how far they've gone. So they still have the same core. Like there's a lot of people, a lot of like NBA players this season that are struggling with their shot making. It's just weird. The NBA season this year has just been weird with a lot of players not playing up to their standards. And I'm just gonna give them to start of February to like figure it all out. And I think the Suns are gonna be okay. I'm not gonna I'm not on their ship or anything like that. I'm gonna give them their chance, their due diligence to like figure it out.
okay, so I got a question for you, right? This is how Phoenix values Chris Paul. Chris Paul for OG and Anunoby, yes or no?
Stop, man. Just stop, man.
That is how they view Chris Paul.
Chris Paul, I understand how they view Chris Paul, but maybe that view just needs to change a little bit because maybe it's best for him to just be that veteran presence in the locker room, come off the bench, and be a little bit of spark there. I just think they just gotta reduce his role a little bit there.
Okay, see that like you're telling me that they need to make a trade, and I'm telling you like they ain't got no one to trade. Like unless they're trading Devin Booker, which means they're rebuilding, right? So like, what do you do? Because like they are stuck with Chris Paul. If they take Chris Paul off of the Phoenix Suns, like they have to completely reinvent their offense from what they've been the last 2.5 years.
I think the Suns would have been better off keeping Ricky Rubio when they had him.
Yo, if they did that, Devin Booker would be gone. Right now, though? He is, and D Book would have been out of Phoenix.
But he would have been a lot cheaper though, so it wouldn't have hurt as much.
So Raptors fans don't like this. Let's change it. Chris Paul or Fred VanVleet?
Man.
Give Zazu a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Because the Phoenix Suns are cooked. Cooked! Like a charred hot dog. Not even a hamburger. Like a charred hot dog at 7 p.m. after your uncle is drunk. Just hitting there on the side of the grill. Nasty. Micah, go ahead.
Hey, yo, Chris. Looking more like
Micah, you're in the gulag, my brother. You're in the
Yeah,
gulag.
you're definitely not where you need to be, Micah.
all right, but man, yeah, he's looking more like Cliff to me. I nobody's helping them get off that contract. Like
The
real talk, I don't.
second the second best player for the Phoenix Suns last night was Landry Shamet. Anybody want to care to guess the third best player? Let's play a little trivia. Someone give me a player that did something good for the Phoenix Suns last night. Anybody? Going once.
Aiton.
Ayton was the best player last night, 18-5. Next. We got Landry Shamet. Who's after Landry? Yeah, that's right.
D. Lee and Okogie.
Dwayne Washington Jr. 14 points on 5 for 15.
Dwayne Washington.
Bro
Who?
took 15 shots in 19 minutes.
Dwayne Washington. Who?
Jr. at Ohio State.
That
And in fact,
efficiency is trash, bro.
the next play after that, Damian Lee and Chris Paul. Chris Paul, 10 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds. Damian Lee, 10 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds. Your Phoenix Suns, ladies and gentlemen. Cooked. Like a hot dog at 7 p.m. next to your drunk uncle. Nasty business. All right. The Grizzlies seemingly are the team to beat. I think it's the Denver Nuggets. They also have not been healthy. And I don't think people are really giving credence to actually how good Nikola Jokic is at basketball. And that's okay. Like nobody watches them. It's cool. Like we only watch them when they play the Lakers or somebody on national TV. A quick note again from last night's games as we head into bleakness this Saturday because there's nothing on tonight. The Celtics have kicked away their losing streak, winning 121-109. They're going to be fine. The more Robert Williams gets healthy, the better they're going to be able to be. But when he wasn't playing, they're actually more perimeter defensive centric. Now they're going to have to work Robert Williams in, so you will see some losses. But they're only going to come to teams who can really light it up from deep. The Raptors beat the Cavs 118-107. Scotty Barnes 25-10 in a much-needed win over the Cavs. They need a win streak to really kind of go into the beginning of the year with some momentum. The Pelicans 20-12, 128-125 over the Thunder. Nuggets 120-107. But I'm going to go ahead and turn our attention to the games tonight, as I'm only going to go for maybe about another 10 minutes or so. If you can and you want to support the show, any donation is welcome. It goes into direct content making, allows me to not have to work side jobs to make my son's tuition, etc. It's rough, but we'll get there because I have good feelings that good tidings will be coming with the new year. But you know what? It's still some time between then and now. So if you can help out, we appreciate it. Tomorrow, we will open up Christmas Day at 12 p.m. with the New York Knicks playing the Philadelphia 76ers at Madison Square Garden. The Sixers do not care about this game. They don't care. They don't care. I say that because they will still play Joel Embiid 44 minutes and James Harden 39 minutes and Tobias Harris 37 minutes and run all of our guys into the ground playing 4-on-5 as PJ Tucker goes 23 minutes for 2 shots, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, and a steal. That is my guess for tomorrow. 2:30 p.m. We're gonna have the Dallas Mavericks hosting the Los Angeles Lakers. And listen, if the Mavericks are to lose this game, I need you all to find a Mavs fan and send out a tweet saying it'll be okay. Because if they lose to the Lakers, um, it's not a good sign. Because we don't even know if LeBron is going to play. And if they lose to a LeBron and AD less Lakers, and I keep saying this because it is possible, it's just not going to be nice. Boston hosts Milwaukee at 5 p.m. And then the Warriors host the Memphis Grizzlies on the Grizzlies' first Christmas game ever. And I tell you, like you heard Grindhouse, he tries to be the lowest of the low key on Grizzlies Twitter, and if he's already coming in basically at 10 in the morning on his time to say we ready, oh they ready. I'm going to be watching this game. I hope you do too, because I think this could be an entertaining blowout. And Denver host Phoenix at 10:30 to close this out. And I tell you,
The wackest game of the night.
yeah, I if Book don't play, there is no hope. Like the Phoenix Suns have now become the Devin Booker show with dudes.
Aren't they the Utah Jazz now?
Yeah, they seem to be like the Donovan Mitchell-led Utah Jazz. Could you imagine Booker in New York though?
Uh-oh.
I should put that out there. That's a good question.
That in the air? Oh, man.
Could you imagine Devin Booker?
Jalen Brunson
in a Knicks uniform.
Jalen Brunson and Devin Booker? Oh.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so those are your games for tomorrow night. But I want to spend the last 10 minutes or so. If you've got any reason to come on up to share some good news or some thanks, and you want to give some merry tidings and well wishes, now's the time. We'll go ahead and play some nice music in the background, so I can go ahead and give some of my own after I do this read. Brought to you, as always, by the wonderful people over at slamgoods.com. They took a chance to sponsor and back an idea. They had no idea what this was. Shout out to the pickup card game, who I'm thankful for making the connection. And they still have no idea what this is. I had words with Go Between. 316 people have purchased an item off of slamgoods.com since September 9th. So that's just a little over 3 items per day on average using the promo code HoopSpaces. So if you can imagine, and that's not show, that is days. That's how successful we've been. So hopefully going into the next year, we can continue to access being partnered with a great sponsor that is slamgoods.com. If you head over there now, well, you could pick up a digital copy still just in time for Christmas tomorrow. Get a gift your basketball fan will love and appreciate you for. $20. Actually, it's $19.97. Use promo code HoopSpaces, save 15%. Thank you, everybody who has donated. I appreciate it. Like it's not easy to do a daily show all the time. And I say that so I can hit the bomb and say thank you to my brother Warren for supporting the show and the cause. We appreciate you and what you're able to give. It's going to go into probably buying a Rodecaster Pro, which is much needed if I am to take the next step, of which I cannot tell you yet because I signed papers. And you know what that means. Papers are important. Shout out to Joel, the Dutch Nets fan. We appreciate you as well, donating what you can here to Hoop Spaces. Up next, we're going to go with the thankful spirit to Kent, older than dirt, Just the clam and the mud flaps of Portland, enjoying the resurgence of Damian Lillard. Kent, Merry Christmas to you and yours. How are you?
Oh, thank you so much, Chris. This is it's a wonderful day. I'm actually down in L.A. I'm out in the backyard in my t-shirt, shorts, and slippers.
Oh, must be nice.
Oh, it is. It is. I feel for everybody going through that cold snap. It's horrible. And please stay warm and please stay safe. I just wanted to say thanks to everybody on the show here. We try to listen every morning, and it's part of our daily routine now. And we really enjoy it because my wife and I try to watch a basketball game every night. And someday I'm going to tell the story to the group when you don't have much to say. About how Chris came into a space, a Portland Trailblazers place one night. And I think he might have saved lives that night. That was right after the C.J. McCollum trade. And because there was some serious turmoil there. And Chris was a hero that night. So thanks for that. I wish everybody a happy new year and safe. And this is a time to hug your friends and relatives and, just
Hey, look,
be grateful.
backyard, shorts, sandals, and birds chirping.
Yeah. Oh, and I got a nice cup of coffee, and Doug's sitting here with me. So yeah, it's good. I'm gonna pick some oranges a little later out of the trees, but
Oh my gosh! Yeah,
I know. I'm sorry. I hate to rub it in. I know.
I am wrapped in a quilt, in two hoodies, including the Hoop Spaces hoodie. You can get yours at the merch store, and a pair of sweats, and I am still cold.
Yeah, I'm gonna as soon as we get back home, I'm gonna order my double extra fat hoodie too. So that'll be a Christmas present to myself. So
Hey, appreciate it.
And y'all don't live in Canada?
No,
I beg pardon?
no, I
I
think
said y'all are cold and y'all don't live in Canada. What a shock!
no, I'm pretty good until I hit the negatives. We were at -7 yesterday, with a wind chill of -31. We are at 2 degrees today with a -18 wind chill. It's cold, my man. It's cold.
Yeah. So anyway, about the Blazers going on, it's nice to see Damian Lillard back, but the flow of the team itself has changed, and people are having troubles to adjusting to it. And Anafree Simons is he's just going through a horrible slump. He looks like he doesn't even want to be there. And when the two guys put up 65 shots and there's only 11 assists between the two of them, when you've got open people, and Damian's trying to, I think, go back to the way he was, and I think he needs to adjust his game a little bit to he's a little older, and go on the assist side of it. Because whenever he gets 10 above assists, they usually win the game, and it's just not happening yet. But I'm not too worried about that. I'm glad to be alive, and I'm glad to be able to have Hoop Spaces as part of our life. And thanks a lot for everybody who shows up. And I do enjoy listening very much. So have a happy holiday, be safe, and oh man, try to be warm. Stay safe. Okay,
Yeah,
that's all I
appreciate it.
got to say. That's all I got to say, and carry on. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
appreciate it, Kent. Enjoy your Christmas with yourself and the missus, and the pooch. Everybody has a furry friend in their family, it seems, and don't forget about them as well. We'll go to Zazu. Zazu, what are you grateful for this holiday season?
Man, first and foremost, my wife, she holds it down. My 5 kids, they're terrorists in the house, but they're learning how to be humans
Five.
in a home.
I'm like
So
5. You are, give yourself a round of applause.
thank you, sir.
5.
Yes,
Mm-mm.
sir. So it's gonna be a crazy festival holiday for everyone. Last night we watched Slumberland together. As a family. It's fun, man. Like the vibes are real out here. You know what I'm saying? So just relaxing. Just grateful for family health. Health is very important because one of my clients called me and his son is having knee surgery for because of soccer. So you don't want to be doing that during the holidays. It's no fun.
Yeah,
So
no,
you got to be
been
grateful for
there.
health. So I'm thankful for health, family. Of course, my wife, and yeah, that's what I'm really thankful for. And of course, Christmas is all about our for Christians, all about Jesus Christ. So I'm grateful as a Christian. I'm grateful for my Father in heaven, and for sending His Son Jesus Christ to allow us to return back home one day. So those are my
All right.
gratitudes.
There you go. All right. Appreciate you sharing your thankfulness this holiday season. Sam, brother, I know you are as cold as I am because, like, it is where we exist now. Hopefully, you and the missus are going to have a wonderful holiday with your family. Hopefully, you're staying warm. What do you got for your grateful goodbye for Christmas?
Uh, I'm definitely grateful for my wife and my entire family. Um, the way that this year has gone has been it's been an eye opener, and it's been a show of resilience and the measure of where God can take a thing. So I am grateful for Hoop Spaces, bro. I'm always, especially grateful for you and V. Um, what you've done with this community, where you brought it yeah, you brought it to heights that we didn't see when we all started this. But I am so emphatically grateful for everybody that's listening in, that you're still here, that you made it another year, that we'll be turning the clock again, and we'll be going older and wiser and better. And yeah, greet your family with love. Recognize the opportunity and the moments that you have because they are precious. Stay safe and yeah, stay warm because Chicago and Indiana, yeah, it's real out here. The hawk is out. Hawk is out. So yeah,
Definitely.
I'm mad grateful, bro.
We'll go next to Mosin. Mosin, we're actually getting ready to close out, so we'll give you 60 seconds. What you got for us?
What's up, guys? Hoop Spaces, man. Before I started listening to this space years ago, I was on Real. I don't know if you guys know the forum, realgm.com. I had some great forums in there, topics and things like that. And then things got into more social media and all this spaces and stuff. So I love, uh, the hoop space that you guys have created here, Chris. Is great for just awesome dialogue. People get their perspective off. I'm obviously grateful for family, friends, being able to have a roof over my head, my beautiful bully Debo that causes a ruckus here in my apartment in Los Angeles. It's 40 something degrees out here today. And grateful for Coach the Ball, the Giants looking good. We got a promising future. I'm grateful for the Knicks. We're looking good. We have a promising future. The Yankees, obviously with the 9-year deal we did, we got a fucking goat there, man, and I'm fucking excited about that. So I'm grateful to have my all three of my teams looking up, man, and even across the street, you got the Jets. They're looking good. The defense is looking good. They figure out their quarterback situation, and I think they're playoff contender. So I'm grateful for a lot of things, man, and appreciate everybody here. Take care of your parents. Call your parents, tell them you love them, and stay positive, you guys.
Yeah,
Bless.
there you go. Appreciate it. JF, appreciate you coming through, delivering Miami Heat goodness and badness, trying to make the badness sound good when it's really just Duncan Robinson on a $17 million contract. What do you got to be grateful for, and Merry Christmas?
Yeah, Chris, I'm grateful that the problem is not multiple, it's just one. Duncan Robinson. Also grateful. Dang, you actually stopped making noise. Yeah, I have my son sitting here with me, so I'm grateful it's his first Christmas. Like, he was literally just crying right before I got off the mic. I was like, damn, I can't talk that long, but grateful for him. But yeah, grateful
It's
for
the
Hoop Space.
voice, man. He heard my voice. That's what it was.
I don't know about that, Chris. But I
I'm
haven't
great.
had
I'm
heavy.
great with babies. I thought I'd be horrible, JF, but I'm actually really good with babies.
It could be something, Chris. I'm gonna put him on space one day so he can go ahead and spill his heat goodness. I'm training him young, so I'm thankful for Pat Riley, Mario Cristobal, the usual suspects. But yeah, appreciate you, Chris, for all you've done this year, man. You actually made this NBA thing a lot more fun. I can actually have more of an input than just like 140 characters. So, and I can also interact with people, and you made my followers go up. I don't know what I said right, but I probably said something wrong. I don't know, Chris, but shouts out to you, Chris.
Appreciate it. Micah, go ahead. I know you supported us. I'm grateful for your support, just like I am everybody else's support. Thank you for donating today. What do you have today to be grateful for? And Merry Christmas.
Man, Chris, I am grateful for my family, and getting through another year, like doing good with my employment status, because it wasn't that long ago that I was in a pretty dark place. So to actually turn it around through the help of my Lord, that's still something to continue to be grateful for. I'm grateful for these spaces, the amount of people that I've been able to connect with, and then to be able to support this space in the little ways that I can. That's because I'm being able to give to something that brings value to my life. So that's something to be grateful for me. But that's it right now.
All right. Appreciate it, Mike. And I do hope you stay warm once you get back out there and stay safe because drivers are crazy and they're bad. Joel, the Dutch Nets fan, a happy Christmas to you. I hope you enjoy your Christmas dinner. And what do you also want to share in terms of gratefulness this year?
Yeah, so I was in the kitchen peeling potatoes, but you did say my name, right?
Yeah. Just
Um,
closing out. Just give us what you're happy and thankful for, and then I'll give my piece, and we'll all go home.
wow, yeah, so I'm happy and thankful for. I haven't really thought about that, to be perfectly honest. But I guess I'll be corny and be grateful for my wife because she's the most amazing person I ever met, and she still is. So that's one thing. And yeah, I'm actually grateful that there's no drama at the Nets currently. And, I'm just going to hope that we're going to have a drama-free year. And I'm going to hope that we're going to have a clean injury report for the first time in the KD and Kyrie era very soon.
All right, love it. I hope all of you take some time out to just go ahead and reflect on how much you have grown from when Christmas was a kid until Christmas tomorrow for us and for some of you today. Just imagine, 30 years ago, if you ever woke up and thought where you'd be today. And understand that, like, every day you wake up, you can choose the path you want to walk. And that's really what I'm thankful for. I had an opportunity, and this opportunity would not have happened if I wasn't, one, drug on social media by my friends. Sam, Lenny, and Royce. If it wasn't for them, never would have been on Clubhouse. If it wasn't for Clubhouse, never would have been on Spaces. If it wasn't for Spaces, I wouldn't be here today. And like that's a lot of work for me. Most of y'all know only a little bit about me. A lot of you don't know a lot about me. 2 years ago, this would not have been anywhere in my wildest dreams. 2 years ago, I was just thankful for beating cancer, having a house over my head, and the ability to live a life, although not what I had wanted, uh, something that I can still be proud of. This is something fantastic. I never expected to be able to be in a position where I've met so many people, and to be honest, I've helped so many people. Um, and to all those that I've helped, I hope they know that they in turn have also helped me grow as an individual person and as a father, and that's what I'm thankful for. I will be sometime tomorrow, just to say Merry Christmas. No show though, and I don't know about the following day. We might have to travel. I have a 90-year-old aunt. She is the last of the first free generation of my family, and we're going to go to Kentucky to see her, and I'm grateful for that. Yeah. All right. Merry Christmas to all. Hug your family, hug your kids, hug your pets, but more importantly, hug yourself. Right? You can't be here without you. So give yourself credit. Peace out. See you. What? Monday. Yeah. All right, this show brought to you by slamgoods.com. Our last read of the holiday season. Head over to slamgoods.com. You can still pick up the perfect NBA fan gift. It's called a subscription to the digital copies of Slam magazine. You will get the stories about basketball players like they're human beings, like the people they are, outside of just what they do on the court. So head over to slamgoods.com. Use promo code HoopSpace to save 15% and make yourself a better fan. All right. Peace out. Be warm. Remember, if you are not making French toast for breakfast tomorrow morning, you are settling. Settling is not good. All right. Let's be better. Make French toast. Peace out.